Happy Tuesday, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Let's get our heads right as best we can on National Nothing Day. And how appropriate is that as we saddle up for a 4-hour show about nothing? The Seinfeld of the radio, many have said. I actually just made that up, but I like it. I like it. Strap in for a 4-hour show.
Nobody's ever called us that.
No, I just did it. It's a 4-hour show today about nothing because our local baseball team has decided to just, I don't know, do nothing. Nothing right now. They're waiting out the market. So that's kind of where we stand. We wait with them. That's what we do. Today should be I will say it should be a fairly spicy show. I've got the itch, got the itch to be a little spicy again, as I usually do. It's also this time of year.
Who are you going to piss off today?
Well, listen, man, at the end of the year, I'm cashed, and the shrapnel starts flying, and, I just duck and cover if you're in my perimeter. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Rindle. He's the executive producer of the program. Good morning, Paulie.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well.
Hello.
We've got
Woodsy.
9 to the 9th. Says, any updates on the MLS snub? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. We do have an update. At 6:35, you will hear that this morning. Prime time.
How's your night, Woods? Everything good?
I mean, define good. Define good. It started off pretty well. Got home yesterday, and everything was pretty low key. We had an incident as I put the kids in the shower. There was a doo-doo in the shower incident, which is not, it's not ideal.
Number 2.
It's not ideal. You skirt also. I wanted to get your take on this. There's a fine line. There's a fine line I have a hard time with in parenting where you want to let your kids know what they did was wrong, but you also don't want to shame them. I'm more likely to make them feel shame, and I don't mean to do it intentionally. You guys know me. I love my kids. But I also get exasperated sometimes, and it's hard to turn the exasperation up. How do I say, hey, buddy, I'm not trying to shame you, but this isn't okay. Like, you need to know front and center, it is not okay to take a dump in the shower, ever. This is not a toilet. Just like it's not okay to take a dump in the refrigerator or the sink or the yard or, my putting green in the backyard, those holes, don't go take a dump there. But especially don't take one in the shower.
I mean, obviously, there's a top location for it that we all know.
There's
like
one spot.
One location.
There's really only one.
I mean, in terms of any secondary location at all, it's probably...
Run it by me.
It's probably the second best location.
Run it by me.
If you're not going to go in the top location, which we all recognize what the top location is.
Correct.
The shower is probably
fine. Okay.
the second location.
It's as far as
I don't think so.
No?
All right, what if you haven't if there's an issue, is your stomach bothering you, you let your old man know. I'll take care of you. I'll take care of you. I would die for all of you. You know that.
Let's say you live in a house with one bathroom and the toilet is
occupied.
out of
commission.
order.
Right. You've got no other options.
And the urge hits. What do you do? Where do you go?
Backyard.
Not shower.
I say backyard. I have to. The shower is to clean your
still
body
gonna have-
in.
The shower wouldn't even come to my
It doesn't
mind.
really. No.
I mean, but at least you've got like water
What are you
to
going to do?
rinse.
Step on it, jam it down the drain?
It's kind of exactly what happened.
Oh, God.
I would have said maybe
A coffee can.
You're probably gonna have to get a lot of TP and like transfer it. But then you've got the water.
where?
To
already-
where?
The toilet.
Oh, the toilet's
not
the
working.
toilet's broken. They say.
Oh, that's right.
In
That's
Polly's
true.
hypothetical.
Well, a Ziploc bag.
The toilet
of some
works.
sort.
Then why are you going to the...
A Ziploc bag. He and Ziploc bags.
Where would you put it?
I would tell him to go I dig a hole in the backyard.
Dig a
Go
hole.
there, cover it up, then go from there.
Then it's always there.
So that happened, and I felt bad because he got upset, and I was like, you know how I'm boisterous, I'm vociferous, I'm loud,
Yes, we know that.
right, and so I think So later I was just like, hey man, look, as your dad, it's a hard line to skirt. of not shaming you, but also letting you know you can't do it.
I'm sorry. There's a comment in the
I saw it.
Kill me.
Is it the DSC bit? No?
No, it's the good old waffle stomp.
The waffle stomp. Yeah.
You never heard that?
Teach him the waffle stomp. It's disgusting. Got him early. I'm letting him go.
Never even thought of it. Oh, sorry.
So that's only half of it. So that's all taken care of. Everybody's good. Then at about we got the kids down, no problem. And it was at like 7 on the dot. Got in bed, took my Ambien, laying in bed, playing on my phone, happy as a clam. And I start to drift off at about 8, and I go, this is heaven. It's heavenly. Fall asleep. I'm awoken at midnight. I look up and I see a little batch of curly hair standing. I go, what is it? Mom, Dad? Yes, buddy. Vomits all over our living room. I mean, all over our bedroom. I go, oh my God. So I sit up. Hannah sits up, and I go, and I'm out of it. This is straight up, man. This is like 12:06. And I go, what happened? And she's like, he threw up. And I'm like, okay, do you want to have any? She's like, I got it. I was like, all right. And so I hear, she's scrubbing the floor, just scrubbing the floor. So I'm like, all right, just don't say anything. If you don't say anything, she's not going to make you do anything. But you can smell the vomit and the cleaning solution. Finally can talk myself into relaxing and going back to sleep. So I woke up at 4:30. But it was quite a night in the old Woods household. It really was. It was something else. And I'm just sitting here going, hey man, if this is next week, no
Should've
problem.
told Taylor to go throw up in the shower.
Yeah, go vomit in the shower. So I'm laying there going, if this happens next week, no problem. None. I'm on vacay. I don't have to get up. I don't have to come in and do the show. Like, we're good next week. The universe is like, hey man, I'm gonna make sure to kick you in the nuts as much as I can this week. Just get your cup ready.
Vomit is just the worst.
Doo doo and vomit mixed.
Although
it was an elite combo.
I do have something to rival that from last night, and got home, and our dog has been really on edge lately. There's a possum in our backyard that just it keeps like on the fence, and it tortures our dog. She can see it. She just barks like crazy. She goes out there.
It doesn't torture our dogs. It just sits there minding its own business, and our dogs lose their mind.
That tortures the dog, though. The possum doesn't care. Possum doesn't care. Like, as relaxed as can be, sitting in your yard, making you crazy. So she's been very frantic, like in the house. And when she does that, she tends to get things that she's not supposed to get. And last night, right before I guess I got home, and everyone else was upstairs, so she had jumped on the counter and grabbed one of the spice jars of granulated garlic.
Oh, my God.
Chewed into it, and it was all piled like on her dog bed. Now, this was the dry garlic. Now, I made the mistake of thinking I should clean it up, so like I went with like the wet paper towels and stuff. As soon as the wet paper towel touched the granulated garlic, it activated it. And everything in our house reeked of garlic last night.
Oh, my God. The whole, it permeates.
Oh, permeated everything. I had to throw her dog bed outside then at that point, but it was too late today. Everything smelled like garlic last night.
Garlic is strong.
Strong, yeah.
What's worse, vomit or really strong garlic? I mean, it's like 1A and 1B. If I'm laying in bed at night and I really want to fall asleep, the smell of vomit's not great. Smell of garlic ain't great either, to be honest. It's not that great. So, yeah, man, like I said, dude, this is that week. The universe is like, I'm going to test you. I'm going to test you and see what you are capable of handling. So, last night, didn't handle it the best that I could, but wasn't the worst. Wasn't my worst meltdown of all time, but holy smokes. You had a killer. Yesterday, you made me laugh so hard, Ben. You said you were going to the dermatologist. And you said every time you go to the dermatologist, they slice, speaking of garlic, they slice a mole, like a thin slice of prosciutto you set off you, and it made me retch. Probably what got Taylor to vomit all over my floor. He was thinking about your prosciutto mole.
Good skin health is always appreciated.
And well, you went yesterday.
How was the wrapped up medical week? And things went well. They actually did not have to remove any moles. It's always embarrassing to have to sit there essentially wearing nothing.
Do you have to get fully nude?
I keep my underwear on.
Okay.
They will do kind of like the pull it around.
Do they reach in
everywhere? Just kind of snap it around just so they can see the moles that are underneath.
Male or female?
2 females, actually. So you feel very
wow.
You feel very.
Give me the name of this place real quick. Just give me I'm gonna go check it out for myself.
Professionals.
2 females.
2 female professionals.
I've seen movies that start like that.
Going over me with a fine-tooth comb. It's not the most comfortable thing in the world,
Sexy.
for sure.
That's a dream, actually.
But the good news is that I'm good for at least the next 6 months until they come back. Almost nothing that they were worried about, and
almost nothing is a. So they didn't. But you said
they didn't. They didn't have to take anything off. They gave me a prescription. That's it.
For worms.
A prescription? No, not for worms. Just
a prescription.
Oh.
She noticed one thing that she said probably we should start working on, so she gave me a prescription.
All right, hold on. I'm going to rack my brain here. I'd like to figure this out. I'd like us to figure this out on ourselves. Viagra. No?
No, it's not. It's a skin doctor.
Oh.
I don't know. Two women in there.
Do you have a fungus?
No, I don't have a fungus.
Oh. Jock itch? Psoriasis?
No.
Dandruff?
Rogaine. She said it's starting to get a little thin up at the top. Male pattern, and she said we could nip that in the bud by going with a little Rogaine. And I don't know that I've ever felt older in my life.
I would have rather had a mole on my.
When she said, "Yeah, we just it'll thicken up the hair a little bit. It does work. It's we don't want you're on television. I know, so."
Yeah, your hair's all you have.
You don't really
on TV.
I know. I'm very proud of my hair.
I'm very proud of mine too. At 49,
it was a disturbing moment.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I was going to make fun of you, but I can't make fun of it. It would break my heart in two if that happened to me. I would want a hug and sympathy.
Yeah.
Carlos in the chat. Bald Higgins.
Bald Higgins.
No, I don't want to be bald.
No, you don't want to be bald Higgins.
I really don't.
All right, so here's the thing. This is this is something that we're going to have to monitor over the next year. Because once it starts,
she said you're going to have to keep doing it.
If it starts to go, we're going to have some hard conversations. Because what can't happen...
Well, the idea is that it's not going to.
There's nothing worse than the guy that doesn't know when to just give in.
Like Jude Law. I saw a picture of him the other day. He was getting his Walk of Fame star, and he's leaning down, smiling. Now, he's a handsome SOB. But, dude, he has got the 2 indentations and the one that comes down, and I go, bro, you got to let it go.
My best friend in the world is a year younger than me. He's been balding since 19. And it sucks. But the in-between phase of trying to hold on, he finally, in the last few years, has just taken a razor, shaved, completely bald. I'm like, bro, you look good.
Look good.
It works for you.
Yeah.
You should have been doing this for 15 years.
Again, I can't. That's a devastating diagnosis to get in there yesterday. I would have rather you said, I'm worried about this mole. We're going to have to send this one away. Take it off.
Yeah, take it off. Might be cancer. That's all right, as long as it's not the hair.
Now, we're massive narcissists. Let's be honest, straight up. I'll admit it. Massive.
I don't like comb overs. My head shape is not good, though, for the shaving of the head.
Mine isn't either. I've got an egg head. You've got a block head.
Yeah.
Neither of them are good. Now, you put ours together, maybe better.
2 great heads.
2 great heads. And
smash your heads together.
Put our heads together. Make an ass out of ourselves. I'm looking. I mean, it's a little thin. I think here's the other thing.
You going to wear a rug if you need it?
I mean, everything's getting better looking nowadays. Technology. Do you think it's the headphones? I hope it's not the headphones.
No, here's the thing. You know what I will say? I feel like you are 1,000% using the wrong product. I've noticed that.
You use 8-in-1 shampoo.
Well, yeah. You haven't taken real good care of your hair. So I'm not really surprised. I think you're using the wrong product. You use a gel of some sort, don't you? Like a styling gel.
Styling cream, yeah.
I think you need to go thicker, like a paste. And I think it'll, when you use a gel, like everything separates and clumps together, and you can see skin. When you use a paste, it'll thicken it up. So I think that's a good plate with the Rogaine and the. I'll bring you some. I'm gonna get you some for Christmas. I'm gonna get you the good stuff. Get you a little money for it.
I mean, that appearance-wise, I can see what
My
you're
bottle
saying.
doesn't say shampoo.
I don't think it's actually
cleansing
going to
cream.
make the hair thicker if it's just a cream, unless it's medical. That's what we're going. We're going for a medical solution.
You're going to be in Turkey in a year. We're going to be doing a Ben and Woods trip to Turkey in a year.
Implants.
Yeah, apparently they're the best in the world, is what I've heard. One of the guys from Barstool just went over there and did it. He got Turkish implants, and they only do them there. They're the best in the world, and the guys that are coming back with them, they look phenomenal.
Neil says Ben couldn't pull off the shaved head. He would look like Dan Aykroyd from the Coneheads.
You would. It would be tough.
Yeah.
Carlos says, "Get your bald heads right on a Tuesday." So they gave you Rogaine. Now, have you looked? Do you know about the side effects of Rogaine?
They did mention some side effects.
ED is one of them.
Not necessarily. She said less than like 5%. I'll take those odds.
All right, fair enough.
Take those odds.
Old Ed. Hey, so you're telling me I'm bald and I have ED. This is great. What's next? Anything else? You want to kick my dog?
I was just coming in to get my
I was coming in to get my balls looked at. Oh, man, I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. God. I was really hoping it was like some sort of warts or something. This is way worse. This is way worse. Oh, God. Well, it's been a rough one. Thank you guys for being here with us. You make our morning. Some of these lines in the chat are just elite. I mean, the waffle stomp is an all-timer. We do have some fun stuff planned today. Certainly, we will update you on the SDFC debacle coming up at 6:35.
I'll give you the rest of the menu when we come back. We are underway on a Tuesday, final week of the year for Ben and Woods. Kelly's got traffic, and then we'll be right back on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else. Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
Orthodox Evans in the chat says, you guys, my Odyssey wraps as I listen to 97.3 The Fan for 64,699 minutes this year from Texas. Crazy how much you guys are part of my day. Thanks for the memories.
Love it.
You're welcome, buddy. Thank you.
Appreciate everybody who has shared with us their different wrapped stories about listening to Ben and Woods and 97.3 The Fan. Definitely makes you feel appreciated at the end of the year.
Big time.
And I would like all the tier ones to feel appreciated as well, because you are. We don't do this show just for us.
No.
I mean, it's fun. We'd come in and,
Sure.
I think it's good for our mental health.
It
to
is.
sit here and chat. But ultimately, if it was just the three of us, probably wouldn't be that satisfying. It's all you out there that makes this worthwhile and satisfying to us.
I think if it was just the three of us, I'd probably choose to sleep in at least, 4 out of the 5 days instead of getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning and coming in here stressing out about what we're going to talk about. But no, I mean, this is, best audience in radio, period, the end, nobody better.
What are we going to talk about today on the menu? I did have one significant move in baseball yesterday, semi-significant at least, one signing by the Baltimore Orioles, but I do feel like there is an impact of this signing on your San Diego Padres, and we can talk about kind of the trickle-down effect of these other signings as the Padres remain, awfully quiet so far this offseason.
Those Orioles, man, they'll do anything to not have to give up a single prospect, my friend. They will do anything at all to not give up a prospect.
In our 7 o'clock hour, take on Woods and don't do this. And speaking of Wrapped, we'll continue our Ben and Woods Wrapped look back. We're all the way up to the month of September now when we got an absolutely insane phone call from a Tier 1, an appreciated Tier 1.
This is the dream. What happened on that in September is the dream. Period. The end. You bring something up,
Something
totally random, and someone calls in and proceeds to blow your mind. And it happened. And I'm talking. It's a 1 in a million shot. I've been doing radio a long time. In fact, it's so rare that if we decided on one of the shows I worked on to do this as a topic, we would have paid an actor to call in. And that's something once you can hear it, like you start to realize when you're listening to local radio, oh, that guy's a paid caller. This one, on my kids, was not. This is a random Tier 1. In fact, I ended up meeting her later, and it was pretty insane.
So that'll come up in our 7:35 segment as our Ben and Woods Wrapped look back in September. And speaking of Wrapped, we thought, well, why not check in with some of our favorites one last time here in 2024, which means coming up in our 8 o'clock hour, probably right at 8:35, we will chat with Jesse Agler, the voice of the San Diego Padres. Obviously not discussing all the moves the Padres have been making, but just kind of catching up with Jesse before the holidays.
Calm our nerves, though.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah, Jesse is really good. He's elite at calming us down. And I think, at this point,
Should be paying him for therapy.
yeah, you're absolutely
Over
right.
the years.
So Jesse's coming on. What time? 8:35?
8:35.
Perfect.
Final hour, Ryle Report. Probably get into last night's Monday night football doubleheader. Is it a doubleheader when the games are on at the same time,
No.
or is it more of a
I don't know what
Dual
it
feature.
Yeah, I don't know.
double feature? No, those are consecutive. These are overlapping.
Like your league is in a healthy place when you're like, let's just run 2 games at the same time. We're good.
Two pretty terrible games.
One game was
and
terrible. The other one was awful. So
Yeah.
They had the score no matter which game you
Yes.
were watching because they were both ABC, ESPN products. So the other game's score would be up in the upper left corner, and you're like, I don't really want to flip to that
No,
either.
I'll just stay
But
here.
I don't really want to watch this. I don't know what to do right
Yeah,
now.
that's exactly right.
It was really Sophie's choice last night in Monday Night Football contests. But we can talk a little
Yeah.
football and more.
You have to really love the game of football to watch those games last night. I mean,
You
it
did.
needs to be in your soul.
I'm
Or
happy
you're a
for
degenerate
Or you're a
gambler.
degenerate gambler.
Hello,
Paulie.
I don't know.
I won both.
You're
I'm
not
happy.
a degenerate if you win.
That's true. That's true. You're an elite gambler.
And Paulie benefited from. You might have caught it at the end of the
I hope nobody
Falcons
was
Raiders
watching.
game. The blocked extra point that had a major impact on people who had one side or the other of the 5.5 point spread last night. So we can talk about that coming up a little bit later in the program. Heading into 10 o'clock, and Annie and Elston again as we are working our way towards Friday and our annual Ben and Woods Christmas and Holiday Extravaganza to wrap up our year. What is this, our 6th?
I think so, man.
Extravaganza?
Yeah.
6th extravaganza.
We had one that was very
COVID.
unplanned, impromptu. The
Yeah.
very first
the
one.
first one, yeah.
It was not. We didn't bill it as the extravaganza. It just kind of happened.
Well, the first Super Bowl wasn't the Super Bowl. It was the AFL
Exactly.
NFL championship game. And then it became the Super Bowl. This was like the first one. And then we thought, okay, let's make it a thing. And we did. Then we had the COVID-y one where I was like quarantined and couldn't join you and had to be there remotely.
That was a nightmare.
Yeah. I was like last second, like, nope, you can't come in. You were exposed. And that wasn't great. But the last few years have been really awesome. And it's been getting bigger and better every single year.
That might have sent me into therapy, actually.
one,
that
yeah. That was a tough one.
a tough one.
All right, so that's our show for today. We'll come back. We'll talk a little baseball, the move, and how it could impact your San Diego Padres coming up next.
Well, and we're also going to update you on SDFC next.
oh, that's
as
right.
I promised
Thank
you at
You did promise that.
6:35.
We got time for both coming up
Yeah, we
next
got nothing but time.
on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All right, we do have an update on Kitgate.
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 Well, if you missed it yesterday, we started the show. We were hesitant to talk about it. Well, they were. I wasn't. I talked to our boss Adam after the show, and I said, I think Ben gets a little nervous when I go off on my tangents and whatnot. And we had seen over the weekend this big to-do from SDFC, which, again, they're going to be first home games in March, the new MLS team coming to town. And, there's a lot of excitement about it. I think they sold the most jerseys in MLS history over the weekend. And, mixed reviews on the kits, but that's standard. I mean, it didn't matter what they put out. You're never gonna find people that are 100% on board, right? There's still people that hate Padres Brown. There's still people that loathe the City Connect. There are people that love the City Connect. You're never going to make everybody happy, so no problem there. We saw this, all these things coming out on social media and all these local news guys out celebrating, and they got, these beautiful setups and beautiful kits, personalized and all this, and we kind of thought to ourselves, well, what happened? And then Ben did some digging, and come to find out they did a media and influencers game. And I kind of made the joke yesterday of like, yeah, just when you think you're somebody, the new soccer team comes in and they just smack you in the mouth. And we had some fun with it. And I got this morning from a guy that didn't DM me, he tweeted me this morning, and he said, "Come on, Woodsy," he said, "How are you gonna get on the air and complain about not getting a kit when this happened on Friday?"
Would you guys be interested in having your own personalized San Diego FC kit, jersey tops for Christmas? I know you want to get into soccer a little bit. Are you not ready?
So that Ben is asking me and Paulie. He's like, "I'm dying trying to figure out what to get you guys for Christmas. How about I go down to the team store?"
The foreshadowing here is unbelievable.
The foreshadowing is insane, actually. And he says, "What if I went down today and got you guys your own personalized kits?"
I know you want to get into soccer a little bit. Are you not ready to take that leap?
Part of me that wants to say yes, because that's probably more money than you would ever have spent on us.
That's true.
But I think I'm okay.
I'm not.
Solid looking, kind of
It's
solid blue. What do they got? Azul. They call it azul. Chrome and azul. You showed it to me briefly. I wanted to get your stylistic
I'm
take.
good on it.
You're good.
I don't need.
You're good. You don't need one yourself personally yet. You want to wait until you fall in love with one of the players and
Correct. Okay, so that's where.
So you passed.
So
So they were listening, obviously. He said, "Well, we don't need to send one to Woods."
So I wrote this guy back. I go, "Do you really don't see the difference here in what we're talking about? Like I wanted to be special too. I wanted them to invite me and you and Paulie and say you're a part of this, and you didn't. So you feel slighted, right? And I also like the
You
weird.
wanted to be an early adopter.
Of course,
On the ground floor.
Who doesn't want their own personalized kit from the team that says, "Hey, we value you. We want you. You have a platform, a good one, and a big one, and a huge loyal audience."
Now, you have a Padres jersey that says Woods.
I do.
I've never seen you wearing it.
I've worn it before.
Have you?
Yeah.
You have a Machado jersey you've worn a few times.
I'm not a big jersey guy.
Right.
I'm not. But I mean, I think
I've worn the fantasy camp jerseys
Sure.
that have my name on it.
Yeah.
I've worn those to like our opening day broadcast or something.
And I think the soccer kit is more. I'll be honest. I think a soccer kit is more wearable on a day-to-day
Wear
basis
around
than a jersey.
I see what you're saying.
It's
there.
more of a T-shirt.
Yeah,
right.
I get that.
But he's missing the point here. He's missing the point here, Tyler. There's also an element from last Friday's conversation where, can I be totally honest? I thought that was a bit of a cop out from you, because had Paul and I been saying throughout the year, can't wait till the kits are launched, can't wait till the kits are launched, I want our own kit. That would have been appropriate to go down and buy it. I felt like you were like, "Hey, everybody wants these. I'll just go get you guys these." We had not expressed any interest.
And to be
in
fair, I threw it out a little bit flippantly.
Yeah, very
as well,
flippant.
knowing that I could probably do better than that in terms of personalizing something for you.
Correct. And so this comes down yesterday, and we're talking about it. I get some texts from some friends, and they say, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe this." And Ben and Woods are out in the cold. Not just Ben and Woods. I think it's the whole station and the whole cluster, really. Which again, you're launching a soccer team. Don't you want as many eyes as you can on it?
I think, to be fair, it was much more odd that Ben, out of anybody, at least in this room, wasn't invited.
Yeah, there's two people on this radio station that should have gotten the red carpet.
But I
think
didn't see,
it's
I
Ben
didn't see a
and
lot of
Craig.
radio guys out there. I saw every TV guy out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
besides Ben.
I clearly, if I had feelings, they would have been somewhat hurt.
If you had feelings, your feelings would have been hurt.
Fortunately, I don't. But I can see that if I did have them, I'd look and see at all the other TV guys at this event, wondering, I didn't even get invited.
It made me sad.
It's a
It made me
little
sad
odd.
for him. And then, of course, I do the thing in my head. I go, "This is my fault. I've sullied his reputation so badly that the new local soccer club is like, not him.
Can't
And
do
again,
business with Ben
I'm not doing
Higgins.
business with him because they were talking about waffle stomps this morning on the air. And I've seen pictures of him eating fettuccine in a S&M mask. And I know that he has a sex doll. And I know that he is a
Okay, you can stop now. It's fine.
closet pervert.
You're good.
And all these things. And they're like,
Ganja, a.k.a. cannabis.
he loves marijuana. Right? So there's all these things. And I think to myself, this is all my fault. This is all my fault. And I think there's a part of you that blames me. So we get off the air yesterday, and I mean, you guys. Do you have the text?
Yeah, within an hour.
Within an hour.
Within an hour of the show ending, I get a text from someone with SDFC. Say, hey, we have a jersey for ABC 10 we'd love to deliver to you this week. Can you let us know when the best time is? And there's a picture of the actual jersey. It says it's got ABC 10 right there. It's a kit top. And I can't imagine that they just made that during the show. So they had it there. They just never bothered to send it. Now, it doesn't say Higgins like the other one said. Delgadio and Garignani.
You know how easy it is to spell Higgins? Trip.
Two P's in Trip. Higgins.
Yeah.
Just to let
Higgins,
everybody know.
easily the most common out of all of
It's
those
like
names.
moronically easy.
Garignani probably took them hours to figure
kidding.
out. Higgins, pretty easy.
So now, instead of the personalized one, you just get the old generic.
I think that's more of
ABC
one you
10.
put like you frame it and put it on the wall at work as opposed to like actually wearing it. I don't think people would go, why does your kit say ABC?
Ooh, you can
you
wear
like the alphabet a lot?
No, you can wear your new ABC 10 sweatpants
Right.
with your new ABC 10
Sweatshirt.
kit
And my kit.
and your sweatshirt. You will be
decked out.
Lord
in
ABC.
ABC. What does ABC mean? Why do you have an ABC on the back of your jersey? That's
Why
weird.
are you dressed head to toe in ABC
Is this
wear?
Sesame Street with ABC?
I don't know. Like I again, as I said yesterday, I tend to give what I get. Here's all right. I'll just say it. If you kiss my ass, I will kiss your ass in return.
See,
How about that?
I am totally opposite. I do not hold a grudge. In fact,
I will. You scratch my back, I will scratch
not
your back.
only did I graciously accept the ABC 10 jersey, their sporting director, their GM, Tyler Heaps, is coming in and going to do an interview with me later today. So
now
I am taking the high road.
So now what happens is this. So now there's a line in the sand between Ben and I. Right, Paulie?
There's always been the line. You're petty. I'm not. That's the line. It's always been quite clear.
You're desperate. I'm not.
I'm doing my job. You're not.
I have ethical standards and pride. You do not.
I have ethical standards. You have pride.
I have pride.
They're totally different things.
Look, man, at the end of the day, I think we're a pretty great show. And I think we have a pretty great audience that I think could really help your new business.
I think we're an okay show with a really great audience.
That's a fair point, Paulie. I'm a helper. I like to help. If my help's not appreciated, no problem. I'll take my help elsewhere. That's how I feel. Keegan called you a sellout. I'd say that's fair. That's fair. Sellout.
I'm not really getting anything, though.
You're getting the ABC 10 jersey.
Always available for purchase.
Again,
Yes.
I think that stays at the station, though. I don't think it's coming home with me.
No, it's not. It's not. But you got a segment. You can get a segment out of it, and
I
they're
think
going to get their publicity.
They're getting a
They're
segment
getting a
out of
segment.
it, which I'm happy to do. Promote their new football team.
If we got one sent to the station that just said 97.3 The Fan
Who gets
or
it?
Odyssey,
Got to give it to Craig, right?
I think Adam takes it.
Hey, I'm taking this.
Michael gets first
Michael
dibs
does.
if
Yeah,
he wants
that's
it.
true.
Pecking order.
Well, hey, listen. Enjoy your interview tonight
Thanks.
with the guys that stabbed us in the back. No big deal. Enjoy it. Won't be the first time. Won't be the first time.
Won't be the last.
I guarantee you, it
Fair
won't be
enough.
the last either.
The segment of
Tell
Ben
them we
and
said hello.
This scintillating segment on Ben and Woods is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings is football. I'm not sure which kind. Hey, San Diego sports fans, head to your local Buffalo Wild Wings. Try their new maple chipotle sauce for rich maple sweetness and a mild, smoky chipotle heat, or for a bit of kick. Check out the new Cajun sauce with a rich blend of spicy and tangy peppers. Stop by your San Diego B-Dubs or order now for takeout and delivery with Buffalo Wild Wings Go.
Let me know if you need the phone numbers of any of the other people in town that have beef with me, and I'll send them over, and then you can have them on one big powwow, a big round table. How about it?
Fair enough.
All right.
All right, we're going to check traffic. When we come back, we'll talk about the baseball signing yesterday, a little out of the blue, but these are going to just start dropping in randomly now between, now and the start of the season. So that's coming up next here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick. Got a collision on northbound 805 right at the East 54 connector ramp, but that's it, guys. No other incidents or accidents to mention. A lot of Caltrans projects around the county, though, so just a friendly reminder to please be extra careful as you pass them. Even move over a lane if it's safe to do so. I'm Kelly Danik with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Yesterday, the Baltimore Orioles made a pitching addition, signing Japanese pitcher Tomoyuki Sugano to a 1-year, $13 million contract. And Sugano, actually, all this Roki Sasaki talk, he had the best season of any pitcher in the NPB last year. 1.67 ERA in 156 and two-thirds innings for the Yomiuri Giants. Now, he is not a prospect. He's 35 years old.
He's 35 years old, man.
He's definitely on the backside of his career, but for any team looking for potentially a short-term boost to their rotation, like the Baltimore Orioles, it was someone that was on a lot of teams' radars, including, from what I've heard, A.J. Preller was looking in. And I don't know if an offer was ever made or how serious it was, but Padres are obviously looking for starting pitching. This was one of the options. It's off the market. More than that,
he's off the market.
He's off the market.
Yes.
That option is off the market.
That option's off the market.
He is also off the market. One of the trickle-down effects, though, is the Baltimore Orioles were considered to be one of the teams that might be heavily interested in Dylan Cease if the Padres were putting him on the trade market. Now, that doesn't mean they're not interested in adding another frontline starter, but you get a little less desperate for pitching once you sign someone like this that you expect to be part of your starting rotation next year. So could depress the market for Dylan Cease a little tiny bit.
Maybe a little bit, because if you're the Baltimore Orioles, you're going into a rotation with, okay, you ready?
Who do you have right now?
Zach Eflin.
Okay.
Pretty good. Grayson Rodriguez was injured, but he's good. When he's healthy, he's great. Dean Kramer, Trevor Rogers, Albert Suarez, youngsters Cade Povich and Chase McDermott, a Dylan Cease to
and now
Baltimore
Tomoyuki Sugano.
And Sugano. They signed Tyler O'Neill. He's an outfielder, and they're making moves.
They need a
certainly.
mainstay, though.
They need a mainstay.
They had Corbin Burns last year.
Yep.
Still a free agent, but obviously there's a lot of teams that are interested, and given the history of the Baltimore Orioles, you'd expect them to get outbid for Corbin Burns. So they still need a mainstay. They could still be interested in Dylan Cease if the Padres are talking. Have not heard much since or anything really since the winter meetings, when that was such a hot rumor about Padres trade talks. It's really gotten quiet these last few days since the meetings ended.
Yeah, big time. And I think the Red Sox potentially are still in play, even with getting Garrett Crochet. I think there's a lot of teams that could use a Dylan Cease, and I think a lot of those teams in the AL, we talked yesterday about the AL needing to step it up, because the NL is going to be a bloodbath. I mean, everybody's coming to the NL. It's going to be a bloodbath in the NL. Then again, if you're the Padres and you're like, we still want to compete and we have Dylan Cease under contract, let's just keep Dylan Cease. So I can see both sides of the story. I am under no duress to trade Dylan Cease at all. None whatsoever. It's not a Juan Soto situation. There is absolutely no reason that you have to trade Dylan Cease.
No,
right now.
but you always are looking at it, considering he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. And, the chances of signing him to a long-term deal are unlikely. We've
Correct.
talked about that.
You have to win in 2025.
Correct.
You're not the Angels with Shohei Ohtani.
Correct. You have to win. If you're
You have expectations.
Bro,
you have the payroll. You have the team.
season tickets are sold out.
But
the
why
prices
you have to
gone
win in
up.
2026 too?
Sure,
and 2027.
Well, you worry about them. You've painted yourself into this corner where you've traded for guys with 2 years of eligibility. You got to get the most out of those guys, in my opinion. Again, if they trade Dylan Cease, Ben, as long as the return is good and has major league pieces, great.
And keeping Dylan Cease, I think, is a fine option. But the ideal scenario, which may not exist anymore, would have been at least two clubs desperate for pitching with deep farm system talent that
Correct.
they are willing to trade that could help the Padres both now and in the future.
Now and in the future, sure.
Bidding against each other
Yes.
for Dylan Cease. Well, the Orioles are offering this. Well, the Red Sox are offering this. So you better come back with even better prospects. And now that Crochet has gone to the Red Sox, Sugano to a lesser extent to the Orioles, it might depress that market a little bit, which, ultimately could make it more appealing for the Padres to keep Dylan Cease rather than trade him to a team that's not as motivated to make a move.
You have to be, I think you still have to be blown away by the offer. I think it has to be one where people look at it and go, God bless, the blank got fleeced by A.J. Preller, but they needed a frontline starter and they were willing to pay the price. That's the report I need to see on MLB Network. I need to see that is a ton to give up for Dylan Cease, but you got 180 innings and you got a guy that's, threw a no-hitter last year. He's got Cy Young stuff.
Yeah, you can't get a meh return for Dylan Cease.
No, you cannot get something where it's like,
But you do have multiple, holes to fill still. Outfield, catcher, other pitchers. And if you can get, more of those pieces for Dylan Cease, there's an argument to be made. You're better off this year.
Yeah.
Even trading Dylan Cease.
Okay. I mean, I can, like I said, I can get behind it either way. Because guess what? I don't have a choice. We're Padres fans. We're gonna eat what they give us, but there's still some options out there.
All right, some interesting comments from Rod Manfred yesterday, plus Take on Woods coming up next here on 97.3 The Fan. I was a little surprised yesterday about something that the commissioner of baseball had to say, Woods, Rob Manfred. The last person that I ever expected to perhaps undermine what one of their, premier franchises has been doing.
Their bonus babies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Los Angeles Dodgers, who have built a World Series champion on the backs of deferred contracts, saying, hey, we can afford it. This is how we're going to do business.
Yep.
We're going to set aside the money. It's going to grow in an account. Even I have been like, if they can afford it, then it's within the rules.
What are you going to do?
What are we going to do here? I understand that it feels unfair, especially when you're a fan of a smaller market team.
You can't sign a catcher.
It feels unfair, but the Dodgers are not cheating in any way.
Nope, it's a brilliant strategy
with what they're doing.
It's a very brilliant
Let's be honest,
strategy.
we're all just jealous. We can't do
Bro,
that.
that's it in a nutshell. And again, what have I said the entire offseason and last offseason? You have to have a player that says, yeah, man, how much better would our radio station be if I said, give me $50 a week and just pay me later? Do you think Michael and Adam would sign up for that today? I'm going to get $200 a month and just give me the rest down the road. And let's go. Because I want to be able to do this, and I want to be able to go to here, and I want to be able to go to all of this and not have to worry about it. Yes, who doesn't sign up for that? But you have to have the player that's willing to say, yeah, I know you're going to give me $700 million. I'll take 698 of it in a decade, right? I mean, it's a special type of player that does that. So here's the thing, though. He's not the only one on that roster that's done it. And in fact, I read recently, they really want Teoscar Hernandez back badly. Like, he's a part of the fabric of their team. Dodger fans love him for good reason. Had a monster year, great attitude, great teammate. He doesn't want deferrals. He does not want deferrals. He wants his money up front. I think they're so comfortable now with doing the deferred deals that they're actually a little bit dicey about paying him $25, $30 million a year up front. And so...
Plus, they just spent $17 million on Conforto.
Yep.
Not that they can't afford it. They
Correct.
can, but at some point you're creating a roster crunch as well.
Correct.
So they don't want to overpay and create a roster crunch at the same time.
Yep.
So the comments from Rob Manfred, kind of from an unexpected source. He appeared on the Questions for Cancer podcast with Chris O'Gorman. And this is not by any means the spiciest of statements. It surprised me when this is what Rob Manfred had to say.
What are your thoughts on salary deferrals like we've seen with the Dodgers over the last few years on about $1 billion of player contracts, most of that coming with the Shohei Ohtani contract last year? And I'm sure that a fair amount of people expected that we were going to see deferred terms embedded in the Soto contract, which ultimately was not the case. I know that this is all in line with the current CBA terms, but do you see any need to possibly address this in the near term?
Yeah, deferrals, but deferrals are at some point can become problematic. Historically, we did have one franchise, Arizona, that got itself into financial difficulties as a result of excessive deferrals. We've strengthened our rules in terms of the funding of deferred compensation in order to avoid that kind of problem. But, look, obviously, the bigger the numbers get, the bigger the concern.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, your new rules require that money has to be placed in escrow each year as they kind of build out towards that deferral, right?
Right. That's accurate. And, that assures that, the money's going to be there for the player to get paid. It doesn't solve all of the ownership side issues in terms of, you go to sell the club, you're selling a club with a big mortgage on its future.
All right, so, read between the lines with those statements. Obviously, Rob Manfred's not panicked about the Dodgers.
No, nor should he be.
Deferring money, but I think he recognizes the fact that not all of his franchises really can or should be doing that, including, as he mentioned, the Arizona Diamondbacks.
What was theirs? I don't remember that. Who did they defer a bunch of money for? I don't remember.
I don't know specifically what he was referring to. The Diamondbacks have always been one of the more problematic financial franchises, but let's be honest, the Padres are much more in the Diamondbacks side of the equation
than the Dodgers.
Financially than the Dodgers side of the equation. What I got from that was that Rob Manfred at least sees that they have created an unequal playing field where certain franchises doesn't really matter. He knows that they're good for it. They can, put the money in the accounts, and it's not a problem. He also knows that other franchises can't. They don't have the wherewithal to do it. And when you have all those liabilities in the future, you're actually depressing the value of your team. I mean, if you wanted to buy a $1 billion baseball team, do you want to buy the one that doesn't owe players another $1 billion in the future, or one that does? Obviously, you don't want to buy a team that has a bunch of commitments that they've already made that you don't even get anything for. So he's a little concerned about the state of the financial game because of the deferrals.
Yeah, I mean, again, I look at Guggenheim, who the Dodgers. Listen, you go back to 2011 was not that long ago when they were completely bailed out of their financial woes by Major League Baseball, by Bud Selig, completely bailed out, filed for bankruptcy, the whole thing. Look what they've been able to accomplish in just a short time. Not everybody has had that luxury either. Not everybody has had the commissioner of baseball say, listen, you guys have dropped the ball here. We're going to bail you out. We're going to run this thing for a while. And then you'd have the white knight of Guggenheim riding in and saying, don't worry, man, we got $350 billion market cap. You guys are good. So I would trust, if I'm a Dodger fan, I'm with my feet up with a cigar going, there's almost nothing that could happen outside of a complete financial crash in this country, which I guess is possible, that's going to put our team in any real danger in the next 25, 30 years, right? I mean, with a backer like Guggenheim, you really have nothing to worry about.
Right. But, other teams have gotten into trouble. The Dodgers in the past got into trouble with different ownership. Wasn't that long ago. So it's certainly a concern. We need a contestant for Take on Woods. Going to play our game in a couple of minutes and try to qualify another Tier 1 for the trip to Las Vegas and the college basketball viewing package in March. 833-288-0973. Call right now, 833-288-0973. I'll give credit. I don't know Chris O'Gorman at all, but
no.
Good questions.
Good get, by the way, Chris
Good get.
O'Gorman.
I mean, Manfred was going with the casual look. He kind of had the legs crossed, sitting at a conference table with a cup of coffee on the side. Good, going with the relaxed feel.
I'm
look at
the
me,
casual commissioner.
I'm very cool.
Look at me.
I have no socks on. I'm very cool.
I'm very cool.
When you sent that interview over, or you sent the quote over, and I wanted to pull the audio. It was a 26, 28-minute interview, and I sifted through the whole thing. Last question. Go figure.
Last question, of course.
But there was some other interesting stuff. Nothing that's really even close to happening. It's the robotic umpires,
right.
The strike zone. It's the he's like, there's some talk about, and then he would throw out some random hypothetical, but it kind of gets the brain going of like pitcher inning minimums, starting pitcher.
I saw that
6 innings with some exceptions, of course. And I'm like, well, how would that work?
Right.
You can't make a guy go out there and pitch 6 innings, can you?
No, that's the one that we've kicked around for a couple of years, and I don't know how you enforce that by any way. I just don't know how you enforce it. I don't. And there's a lot going on. It's cyclical.
The golden batter rule makes more sense.
Yes.
As bizarre as that
It's very cyclical in baseball. So if you follow a lot of guys on social media, as I do, you're seeing right now old school, new school again. And it happens, it's in cycles every single year. Mm-hmm. Chipper Jones going after the new school. He's awesome. By the way, Chipper Jones' stuff on hitting, I've bookmarked all of it to teach my kids. Coach my kids, it's brilliant. I mean, the guy's a Hall of Famer, switch hitter, elite player. He's giving tips on how to be a better hitter. I'm bookmarking that. You got Goose Gossage on another rant, which is, again,
you're a nerd too.
It's a little bit PTSD when you read it, but you're now, again, it's going. You got Will Clark ripping on the Giants. There's all this stuff that's going on. This is just the game of baseball. It's happening in basketball too right now.
It is, and I want to talk about that as well. But for Rob Manfred, I see him. He finally had a win. The pitch clock, the rule changes, the faster game. Almost everyone has universally loved it. It's like a rare win for Rob Manfred. So I'm not surprised that he's like kicking the tires on some other rule changes. Like, because this went really well for me. Someone's finally not mad at me about something. Let's look into some more of these rule changes because these other ones went so well. I agree with you, though. I think they probably should leave it as it is at this point with what they've done. It's worked. don't go too far.
Talking about
off
reducing
the
the amount
rails.
of pitchers on your team from 13 to 12, and that just kind of raises the value of pitchers, I guess. And then you
But
have to
also
use them
increases
differently.
injuries potentially, which you don't want to do. Everything's got unintended consequences that you have to be careful about.
JH619 says bigger bases liked. Yes, I think universally the bigger bases are.
They're not hated.
They're not hated. No one
They're
complains
safer,
about them.
There's more steals.
Yep.
Maybe catchers are not a huge fan of not being able to throw anybody out anymore.
Yep.
But for the most part, I think most of those rule changes have gone well.
Yep.
I was worried about the shift more than anything else.
I was too.
And I haven't really.
Nobody's complaining.
It's not
man.
been a huge deal for me.
They've adapted, and baseball has been pretty good at
Actually,
adapting.
I like not having to see Manny run into right field.
Me too.
Every
I
other,
like not. I
every
like
other batter.
I like seeing a guy hit a ball 100 miles an hour up the middle and it be a hit.
Yeah.
That's call me crazy, but that's what I was told my whole life. You work hard middle, take the pitcher's head off, you're going to get yourself a knock. Not in the big leagues for the last 20 years.
As much crap as we give Rob Manfred, and it's deserved, in my opinion, for the most part. You think about the pitch clock, the universal DH,
Yep.
the shift. Actually, some pretty good
It's
changes
fantastic
over the last
stuff.
5, 6, 7 years.
And that's the thing that drives me nuts when the old school guys start getting crazy on baseball now.
Expanded playoffs, another good move.
When these old guys start yelling about how no one hits 300 anymore, and I get it, I do. When they start going off on their tangents about it, I'm like, the game looks more like the game you played in 1975 than it did in 2020 or 2020, right? It looks way different now, and it's more like it. There's more balls in play. There are still a ton of strikeouts, but they're fewer than there were. So I think we're on the right path in baseball.
I see some calls coming in. Let's get to it. It is time to play. Take on Woods. Oh, who's it going to be? First, Take on Woods is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. It only takes 15 minutes. You don't have to get out of your car. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. I don't know. Let's go.
Line 3. Third caller here.
John, you there?
I'm here.
All right, you're the contestant today for Take on Woods. You ready to play?
Sounds good. I'm ready.
All right. If you can beat or tie Woods in our 5-question musical trivia challenge, you will qualify for our grand prize getaway to Las Vegas. 2 nights at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino in March, plus 2 tickets to their Hoops Central viewing party during the tournament. You can watch on their high-definition screens with luxury seating, table service, and much more. You can get your own tickets at WestgateResorts.com, where they feature $70 million in room renovations. All right, you've got 3 categories to choose from. They are prog rock, 5 questions about progressive rock bands. We've got spit on that thing. Those are 2-second songs, including the word thing. And our new category today is called Something in Common, where you use the first 4 answers to help you come up with the 5th answer. Something new on that one. Prog rock, spit on that thing, or something in common. John, what would you like to play?
You know what? I like something in common.
Something in common. All right, something new here. Today on Take on Woods, you can use the first 4 answers to help you come up with the 5th and final answer. Kind of like a mystery category, as it were. You'll have
Like
60...
the old game show password.
Yeah. You'll have... a little bit like password, yes. You'll have 60 seconds. If you don't know one, you can pass. We'll come back to it if there's time at the end of the clock. First question is the 2-second song. Paulie's queuing it up. You need to give me that song title and the artist to score the point. Are you ready, John?
Ready.
All right, here we go. 60 seconds. The category, something in common. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, John. Let's take on Woods.
Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel.
Correct. Which 1997 single from the Foo Fighters' second album is about the 4-year disintegration of Dave Grohl's marriage?
Pass.
Which 1980 album title track by Motorhead is considered one of the band's best songs, except by late frontman Lemmy, who thought that he did better work after 1982?
Pass.
Which 2014 country hit by the band Perry is about a woman who destroys the tree that she and her ex carved their initials into?
Oh, pass on that one.
Which
too.
Grammy-winning band formed in L.A. in 1990 had successful singles including Schism, Sober, and Stinkfist?
Cool.
Correct. All right, let's go back to 1997 single from the Foo Fighters' second album about the 4-year disintegration of Dave Grohl's marriage.
Monkey Wrench.
Correct. Let's go to 1980 album title by Motorhead, considered one of the band's best songs, except by late frontman Lemmy, who thought they did better. All right, you sort of got it there. It's
Kind of
Tools.
worked the opposite.
It worked the opposite. Tool at the end. You got Sledgehammer, Monkey Wrench, Motorhead's Ace of Spades, and Chainsaw is the band Perry. This is a tricky one for Woods, too, as well, though. I think 3 is a pretty good score out of the 5. All right, John's score is locked in. Something a little different for you today. I'll just let you know about that.
Okay.
60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on John.
Sledgehammer, Peter Gabriel.
Correct. Which 1997 single from the Foo Fighters' second album? It was about the 4-year disintegration of Dave Grohl's marriage.
Everlong?
Incorrect. Which 1980 album title track by Motorhead is considered one of the band's best songs, except by late frontman Lemmy, who thought they did better work after 1982?
Ace of Spades?
Correct. Which 2014 country hit by the band Perry is about a woman who destroys the tree that she and her ex carved their initials into?
Pass.
Which Grammy-winning band formed in L.A. in 1990 had successful singles including Schism, Sober, and Stinkfist?
Tool.
Correct.
Stinkfist.
Correct. Which 1990... Oh, you missed that one. Which 2014 country hit by the band Perry is about a woman who destroys the tree that she and her ex carved their initials into?
What is the...
Something a little different today.
I have no idea. Taint.
That one's called Chainsaw. So Sledgehammer, Monkey Wrench, Spades,
Monkey Wrench.
Chainsaw, and Tool at the end. Everything
Okay.
had something in common.
The toolbox.
And they were all tools. Yeah. At the
How'd
end,
I do?
we got a tie. I believe 3-3, which means, John, you have qualified for the trip to Las Vegas. Congratulations. Stay on the line. Paulie will get your info and get you locked in for the drawing coming up here in just a week or so.
Thank you. I was just going to ask him to repeat
Did
the
I
name
pronounce
of
that incorrectly?
No.
I didn't need to because I've had that.
Oh, you've had
saved
it.
for years.
It's already in the system. It's one of the songs from Tool.
It is.
You a Tool fan?
Stinkfist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably not as much as I should be, but I am.
I know you like Motorhead,
On the fringes.
right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
definitely like the Foo Fighters.
I like the Foo Fighters.
Everyone likes Peter Gabriel.
Sledgehammer. And
I
love that
like
song.
Sledgehammer. I do.
Do you?
I
Yeah.
do.
it's all
I
right.
think it's elite.
He bugged me when I was a kid. I liked In Your Eyes. That's a sweet song. What a beautiful
John
song.
Cusack,
Yes, of course.
Boombox, Ione Sky.
Yes. Great movie.
Say anything,
That's
baby.
right.
All right. Speaking of elite, Don't Do This is coming up next, and we had an elite clap back on social media.
Yeah, and actually, it hits home a little bit because it's Adam's former boss just getting
That's right.
getting dragged. He sent it to us, by the way. His former boss getting dragged.
Next up, with Ben and Woods after traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
All right, let's get right to it. DDT, don't do this. Couple of stories that make you shake your head. Woodsy, if you will get us started today.
Yeah, I got this sent over from the boss man last night to the Ben and Woods and Adam account. And essentially, Adam Schefter sent out a tweet yesterday talking about Sacramento State looking to hire former Pro Bowl quarterback Michael Vick as its new head coach. He says Sacramento State plans to move up to FBS. They're building a new stadium, and they have over $50 million in NIL money. Sacramento State would build an experienced coaching staff around Vic that is in line with the new frontier of college football. So I think a lot of people saw that, and they said, wait. Sacramento State has $50 million in NIL money. Ben was one of those that raised his hand.
I mean, I was very shocked because I know like how hard it is for San Diego State, which has a top 25 basketball program, has a football program with history, a new stadium.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get $619 from, 1,000 San Diegans.
They're trying to raise $619,000
to raise just that much money.
Yeah.
And the Sacramento State's already got $50 million. Where did all this money come from? They have their football program. They were 3-9 in the Big Sky, last place last year. They have no fans, nothing that. I mean, I don't know anything really. They're the Hornets. That's all I know.
Is Jeff Bezos an alumni
maybe.
or a massive fan?
So I was like, I don't get this myself.
So neither did Doug Gottlieb, who our boss Adam used to produce for. And Doug says, Jesus, Shefty, Why don't you edit what agents tell you? There's a 0.0% chance that Sacramento State has $50 million in NIL. Adam Schefter was not about to hear it. So he writes back to Doug Gottlieb, who, again, is a radio host and he's a basketball coach, Ben. He says, and Jesus, Doug, a 7-game losing streak in last place in the Horizon League, less time on social media, and more time in the gym. Holy smokes.
Because, of course, Doug Gottlieb is the new head coach at Wisconsin Green Bay, and they have gotten off to a very slow start this year.
Buried him.
He did.
Buried him. Is that a petty response from Schefter?
Well,
I think so, but it was also really
Doug
funny.
Gottlieb certainly could have called into question Sacramento State. Like, how on earth did they raise that much money? But you probably shouldn't imply that Adam Schefter is not doing his due diligence, because Adam Schefter always does his due diligence.
He's really good at what he does.
And I don't doubt that they are telling what they're telling him. They're telling him.
I don't think there's anybody out there on the planet that I would
trust
more when it comes to sources.
Shefty and Passon.
Yeah.
The idea of Michael Vick coaching Sacramento State, which we talked about this earlier, they have raised their hand and go, hey, I see the Pac-12, the new Pac-12, you need another school. We're out here in California. We would love to make the giant leap and join San Diego State, Fresno State, Washington State, Oregon State, Colorado State in this new endeavor. That would be a way to raise their profile immensely.
Oh, yeah.
If they hired Michael Vick as their head coach and they truly had $50 million in NIL money, that would be a game changer.
Game changer.
But I'm still a little skeptical again that Sacramento State, where is this money coming from in this current state of college football?
Boy, people with sources don't like when you question
No.
their sources, not even a little.
Speaking of the current state of college football, Penn State coach James Franklin decried the transfer portal situation yesterday, saying, quote, we got problems in college football.
You've got a problem. College football, you've got a problem.
Now, he actually was very sympathetic to the plight of his backup quarterback, Bo Prabula, who entered the transfer portal even though his team's about to head to the college football playoff. And he's not just their backup quarterback. He is like second on the team in rushing touchdowns. They use him.
Wow.
They bring him in certain packages. He's like an important player on their team. But he said, hey, we've got their starting quarterback, Drew Agler, announced he's coming back next year. So Prabula says, I need to play. This is my chance, but the only chance I can have is by transferring. And if I wait until after the college football playoff, all the scholarships from the transfer portal will be gone. So this is my only chance to do it.
It's a bummer.
I have no other option than to enter the transfer portal now and skip out on the college football playoff. Otherwise, I'm just coming back and I'm going to be a backup again next year. And James Franklin said, I totally get it, and this is the system that is broken, that they cannot be forced to make this decision right now. Before the college football playoff. Now, for teams whose season is over, fine, whatever. Danny O'Neal, the SDSU quarterback who went into the transfer portal last week, said, I want to play closer to home. This is, this has nothing to do with the coaches. Man, he went fast. He committed to Wisconsin yesterday. And then about 2 hours later, Maryland's starting quarterback also committed to Wisconsin. So now Danny O'Neal's probably a backup at Wisconsin, but he's closer to home. So I don't know if that's a win for him or not, but that was the...
There's so many problems with college football, but I mentioned it yesterday. Like, can't you just make it so that no decisions can be made, no moves can happen until
the season's over?
24 hours after the college football national championship. Then it's at least a fair, level playing field. Yeah, there's going to be tampering, but that happens already in every sport. Like, check phone records, make sure there were no meetings being taken place. I don't know. But that seems like the only immediate solution to all of this.
Yeah, there needs to be some sort of deadline, just wait till it's done. Wait till it's done and go. This is an interesting one.
Free agency doesn't start in baseball until a week after the World Series.
Yeah, for a reason. This is an interesting... do this.
Oh, God.
DD mega doo-doo.
Evan Roberts on WFAN. Well, he saw the story reported that the LA Dodgers had auctioned off the ball that Aaron Judge dropped. in the World Series. The complete series-changing drop heard around the world. His first drop in center field all year. And completely changed the complexion of that game and, ended up the World Series, going to the L.A. Dodgers, and who knows what would have happened had he caught that ball or whatever. But Evan Roberts, I think probably safe to say a Yankee fan, was not too happy.
I don't think so, actually.
Oh, really? Is he a Met guy?
I think he says in the clip, I'm not a Yankees fan.
Oh, okay. So he did not care for this move.
But he does work in New York.
He works in New York. Smart. He had this to say about the L.A. Dodgers.
You got to tell me, how much did that ball go for? Because they were, Sean's right, the L.A. Dodgers, I think, were the team that doing it. They sold the ball that Judge dropped in the World Series.
Yeah, I got $46,000.
$46,000. Let me raise my hand and say this about the L.A. Dodgers. They are classless pigs. No, they really are.
Was it a Dodger fan that bought it?
The
name is S. Cohen. Me and Stevie went in on it. We split it.
I don't mind anyone buying it. It's a great collectible. But jokes aside, I think the L.A. Dodgers are classless pigs for putting that up for sale. I really do. You have a lot of great moments from this year, and that's a troll. That's all that is. That is a major troll on the New York Yankees.
The Dodgers put it up for sale?
The Dodgers put it up for sale.
It's on their website.
Well, how did they have it?
I think they had it because it was in the World Series. Who else has that baseball, right? It was a drop pop-up. It must have come out of play. Maybe Dave Roberts put it in his pocket.
But it was at Yankee Stadium.
I don't know how they got it.
So wouldn't it have, if it went out of play, it goes to the Yankee ball boy?
Or maybe good moments for your team in the postseason goes to the team that had it. I just think that's classless.
It's not a good moment. I mean, I guess it is, but
it's a good moment for the Dodgers. But I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example of my consistency on this. If the New York Yankees, and the Yankees won't, because as much as we bust on the Yankees and the Mets, the Yankees are a classy organization. Yeah. I think we all agree with that. The Yankees would never sell the Luis Castillo ball. I don't think they would. I think they're above that. I think the Dodgers showed who they are. They're a bunch of classless pigs. Wow. And I'll be the one to say it as a non-Yankee fan. But I think them selling the Aaron Judge drop just shows us exactly who they are.
No, that's true. Because I can't imagine the Yankees selling that.
No, because they're better than that.
Wow, that's even I haven't called them classless pigs. Did they send mail to his home too, Evan Roberts in New York?
You've called him everything else.
Man,
it's the only thing you haven't called him, actually.
It is pretty interesting.
It is. I mean, the Dodgers they don't keep, that's not their money, right?
No, I think they give it to charity.
Right.
Was it an MLB thing
Maybe.
or a Dodgers thing?
I have no idea. That is, yeah, I mean, some of their fans, I would say that. You guys can't spell either. Really bad at spelling, grammar. You guys are losers. We are chalkers, as you know. Evan Roberts dropping the hammer on Dodger fans.
And that's
it's not just me.
Do this for Tuesday.
Ooh.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Adam Paul in the chat's dropping a DDT on me. He says, Ben, you should do some research about Sacramento State. I did. All the reports say they've raised their $50 million. I just don't understand where it's coming from. They just say local businesses. If it was that easy,
local businesses,
to raise $50 million, why is it so hard for all these other schools to do it, but so easy for Sacramento State?
Something feels.
I think something feels a little off on it, but yeah, I mean, the
pledges. Is it like
pledged or actually in the pocket?
In the coffers?
I read 3 or 4 stories trying to figure out exactly where it all was coming from and how they've secured the money. And
Adam says businesses and rich alumni.
Say wealthy donors.
But all schools have businesses and rich alumni. San Diego State has lots of businesses and rich alumni, and they're not the only.
Pauly.
They're not the only school that struggles to raise NIL money. Bigger,
$50 million.
Bigger schools with more alumni have a lot of trouble doing it.
Yeah,
and Sacramento State, I mean, with obviously a sports program that is not a needle mover. I mean, literally, has anyone outside of Sacramento ever heard anything about Sacramento State? It's just shocking that they could secure that much money in such a short amount of time.
Wow,
and impressive, if they've done it. I just still don't understand how they did it when other schools have such difficulty.
What conference are they joining?
They haven't. They're still in the. I mean, they haven't been invited anywhere.
Oh, okay.
They want to go to the Pac-12.
Okay,
but that would be a huge jump from the Big Sky to the Pac-12. From
easier with $50 million
cushion. If they
cushion.
have it, obviously, it's going to be a lot easier to do it.
Wow.
All right, we'll take a time out. When we come back, Ben and Woods Wrapped.
Oh yes.
Oh, strap in.
It's amazing when
Amazing when it
someone
works,
comes
man.
out of the blue.
It's amazing when it works.
And just it comes to add to the conversation. Let's just say that. Coming up next on 97.3 The Fan. didn't mean to set off a firestorm about San Diego State and their NIL money-raising capacity. But Woods and I were just talking about it in the restroom during the break.
We sure were.
If Sacramento State is doing something completely different than everybody else, then Aztecs and every other school should be asking, how are you getting all this money donated? Because I get why people donate money to Alabama football. They want to be Alabama football boosters. They want to
100%.
They want to have the ear of the AD and have a suite at the games and be supporters of a top program. But at Sacramento State, you're not getting any of that, at least at the moment. And you're just giving money. There's no investment. There's no return on your investment. It's simply a donation, a gift to the school in the hopes of something in the future. And
maybe they treat their alumni very, very well, and they say, "Hey, get in on the ground floor. Be the start. Be a part of the beginning of something special."
But their management is essentially the same as San Diego State's and all the other Cal State schools. They're operated by the California State school system, and they're all pretty much just offshoots of the same thing. So they're playing with the same playing field, the same rules as San Diego State. That they're finding it very difficult going. Fresno State, all the other state schools, same thing. But Sacramento State all of a sudden has these giant coffers of money. And again, I would love to know how they did it. I'm not saying they're doing anything illegal. I've yet to see an explanation as to where all this money is coming from.
Why in the bathroom, then, did you say you suspect them of laundering illegal drug money? That was your big hypothesis.
I did not.
Now you don't want to say it on the air?
Yeah.
All right.
Truth comes out.
I see all these, it's, Gavin Newsom and did he go to Sacramento State? I have no,
That's the thing is, no one knows anything about Sacramento State, but all of a sudden they have $50 million.
I see the Spanoses. No, they've given a ton of money to the University of the Pacific in Stockton, where they're from, but I don't think they have any connection to Sacramento State.
This is the most anyone's ever spoken about
in the history of
State.
Sacramento State.
Correct.
This is literally
they don't talk
longest...
about them as much in Sacramento.
I doubt it.
Talking about the Kings.
Oh, I just Googled Sacramento State
Notable
famous alumni. Tom Hanks, #1.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Tom Hanks. Did not know that.
What about Chet Hanks? What's Chet Hanks up to, Paulie?
Doug.
$50 million, a lot of coin, man. The good jumping off point.
Buck Martinez.
Dominic
Reese
is the
Hoskins.
founder of Sleep Train.
Really? This is Sacramento State.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's more.
Isn't it called Mattress Firm now?
That's more Sacramento State talk than I wanted to get to today.
All right. We want to get to our Ben and Woods Wrapped for the month of September, and we will get to that right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
This game day traffic report is brought to you by Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water. Guys, we still have this crash on westbound King Freeway at Euclid. Car hit the center divide, so just watch out for a little activity there. In the North County, getting reports of a hit-and-run accident, Bear Valley Parkway at the 78. What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water different? We always bottle our Alpine Spring Water less than 1.5 miles from the spring source, and all our bottles are made with 50% recycled plastic from our own recycling plants. Crystal Geyser, bottled at the spring source. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, on to September, our monthly look back at some of our favorite moments of 2024. And does anyone remember how the original conversation?
Yes.
Yeah, we were talking about the Menendez brothers show on Netflix.
Right, and that led us to conjugal visits.
Conjugal visits. Yeah, I think I posed the question like, hey, how cool is that? I mean, it sucks you're in prison, right? That's terrible. It's my biggest fear. But if you do earn a conjugal visit, is that even a real thing? Or is it something you see in movies?
It is, and it doesn't make a ton of sense when you start thinking about it. Like, what are the logistics behind it? How does it work?
Boy, because I'll tell you what, if I was in prison and they said, hey, if you're a model prisoner and you do this work and do it, you'll get a conjugal visit. Done. That's how you, in my mind, that's how you incentivize prisoners to not fight and argue about stuff and do petty things and,
Earlier in our 6 o'clock hour when we were teasing Ben and Woods Wrapped, he said this was the dream. And I thought that was the perfect word.
It's the dream.
You made, it was, I think, if I remember correctly, it was our 8 o'clock segment that we had all these conversations.
Yes.
And as we're going to break, you just made such a passive comment, just a throwaway comment like, hey, if anybody out there knows anything about conjugal visits, give us a call.
Call us.
And it freaking happened.
It worked, man. And I'm telling you, I know this. I've been in this business a long time. It will shock you to know some of the calls you hear on the radio, it's not Eddie in Chula Vista. It's John from Minnesota who's being paid $40 to make a phone call to a radio station. But again, it's theater of the mind. When you throw one out there, has anybody ever been on a rocket before and somebody calls? It's amazing. So we threw it out.
So just before you think we're getting too, dirty here, the word conjugal simply means relating to marriage or the relationship of a married couple. So when you go to the store together, you're making a conjugal visit to Vaughn's.
Oh, I didn't know that.
If you go with your spouse, that's
a conjugal visit.
Anything related to marriage is conjugal.
Do not let my wife off the hook on this one. By her, we did a conjugal visit to look at Christmas lights the other night. That's not what I'm talking about. You know I asked for a conjugal visit, and that's not what I meant.
All right, it is 6 o'clock in the morning.
That's what I meant.
That's what
I'm looking for.
That was kind of what we were thinking, though, when it came to the prison conjugal visits.
Yeah, yeah.
So when when we had the story about the Menendezes, and then we started talking about conjugal visits, you asked, anyone out there has ever actually done a conjugal visit at prison?
I'm so curious about it because you see it in the movies, you think it's just something in the movies, but apparently it is a real thing, and we have a phone call, and we will not say your name.
Tier 1 Jane Doe.
Tier 1 Jane Doe, we will call you. Thank you so much for calling in, and you called Paulie and said, well, I'm laughing because I have had a conjugal visit. Were you the prisoner or the visitor?
The visitor.
Okay. And I need to know everything. I mean, I need to know morning, day,
tastefully, at least.
Tastefully, but I need to know every detail that you can provide.
Okay, so this was in a previous life. Let me just tell you that. It was like 2001, so I'm not sure if they still go the same way now. But it was a whole weekend, and they have apartments on prison grounds that you stay at for the whole weekend.
Okay.
It's like a full apartment with kitchen and everything. So you order food before the visit, like a week or two before the visit.
Okay.
They have it all delivered. You show up on the day of the visit, and then you spend the entire weekend there.
So it's more than just
it's not just a 15-minute.
15-minute get in, get out.
Yeah.
Like it's
a full weekend.
How tired were you after?
I don't even want to get it.
You're like, I'm begging. I've got to go. Gotta go.
If I may ask, Jane Doe, what was your relationship previously like with this person? You said it was another life. Were you long-term relationship? Were you married? What was the relationship?
Yeah. You have to be married.
Okay.
Oh.
So we were married, and I had my son was like 4 months old, so I had to bring all his stuff too, so it's with the baby too.
Okay, so he gets to see his kid, and what? Do you mind me asking? How it can't be that serious of a crime, I would imagine, if they're allowing this low security type situation.
No, you're locked in like prisoner too.
Well, for him,
that weekend you can't go outside.
I mean, you have to earn it like with good behavior, or like just kind of like, does everyone get this, or did they get this?
Back then, yes. I don't think it's that way now. I think they did change it now to like any violent offenders, but back then it was anyone that was married and put in for it.
Wow. Put in for the ballpark it for me. You're there Friday to Sunday?
Yes.
How many? What are we talking here? Ballpark.
Friday to Sunday. Well, the worst part was it was that time of the month.
Right.
No!
This guy's like,
no way.
Probably too much info, to be honest with you. Probably too much info.
It was miserable.
That's miserable.
Jane Doe.
By the way, they kept you freezing in there too.
Just frozen solid. Oh, my Lord. Thank you so much for calling and bearing that on the radio. You're amazing, Jane Doe.
That's brave.
Very brave. Holy cow. I remain, to this day, fascinated by the idea of a conjugal visit. All right, let's be honest. by Saturday, he's in prison. Oh, I'm so happy my wife and 4-month-old are coming. When's he looking at the clock? Saturday afternoon, he's like,
that cell wasn't that bad.
I kind of miss my celly. And I wonder what he's up to right now.
Kids pooping in the tub.
Yeah, I need to get back in my routine.
Vomiting on the floor.
If you wanted to go ahead and, babe, traffic may be bad. If you wanted to go ahead and hit the road, that's probably okay.
So that was back September 26th. You actually met Jane Doe.
I did.
Like we met her like 2 weeks later. It was yeah.
She came to an event like during the playoffs or something, and she's like, "Hi, Woodsy." I'm like, "Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you." She goes, "I'm Jane Doe," and I went, oh, "Jane Doe, Jane Doe, Jane Doe." She goes, "The conjugal visit," and I go, "Oh my God, no way! Oh my God!" Like put my arms around her. I was like, "Oh my God, you're incredible." Yeah, I just keep putting myself in the scenario where I'm like, "Hey, babe, it's me. Yeah, I got approved." What do you mean you're not coming? What? I got approved. You get. Imagine the guilt she hangs over you for the rest of your life. I drove all the way there and I sat in that dumpy apartment all weekend and did what I didn't want to do more than once. You're dead. Like you're never getting out of that ever. The guilt that they would lord over you for the rest of your life.
What if Hannah was the one in jail?
Ooh.
Would you go visit her?
100%.
For a conjugal visit weekend.
Guess what? Oops, Sunday. It's time to split. Love you. Be safe in there. I put some more money on your books. Enjoy your ramen. And don't make any shivs or anything.
Did you bring Bo and Taylor with you?
And their Game Boys. All right, go play your Game Boys. Mom and Dad are going to go talk for a while.
In this freezing cold cell-like apartment.
Ooh, she would kill me. Wow.
All right, we're halfway. Coming up in our 8 o'clock hour, Jesse Agler checks in for one last time in 2024 and more. That and what's continuing next on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we're halfway home on a Tuesday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate how active you guys are in the YouTube chat, on social media. I really like seeing all your Wrapped coming out and how much you listen. It's really, it kind of blows your mind sometimes. So thank you guys for that. Really kind of in awe of our audience a lot of days. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Rindle, the executive producer. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor and junkie. Ben has a problem. He is a straight up sports radio junkie, and I've been trying to wean him off this week. And yesterday he drove into work for the first time ever, and listened to music on the drive, and he listened to his favorite yacht rock channel. And so this morning I had the idea. I said, well, I mean, let's go out of your comfort zone if you're driving into work. And I sent you just one song. It was Last Goodbye by Jeff Buckley, because you said you really liked the falsetto, the high voice, and he has that.
He has a nice voice.
Nice voice. And I sent that to you, and then you just continued to play
right,
other random songs.
I just let it go after that.
So here's the thing, and then you were texting.
You told me
us,
the sad story of Jeff Buckley.
Yeah,
too,
very, very
drowning
sad.
in the Mississippi River.
It broke my heart. Broke my heart in two. Just one of my favorite musical artists, and was on him pretty early. And when he passed away, it was a shock. You know, he didn't OD or anything like that, like you will one day on Maggie and Perloff. You're gonna find you in your car with a needle in your arm, and yeah, he didn't OD or anything like that. He drowned. He went for a swim in celebration of a new record completed, and passed away. The Mississippi River got him. The old miss, the old man, deep river,
old black water,
old black water, and so you listened to that and you enjoyed it, but you were texting us something yesterday about some other sports radio thing you heard on the drive to work, and that's when I wrote back. I said, you're hooked. You're hooked.
It started with somebody sent this to me. I sent it over to you guys. A bad beat in sports. This might be the worst beat you'll see all season. David Montgomery, Lions, was ruled out for the year today with a torn MCL.
Yep.
That's very unfortunate for him and for the Lions. It says here his season-long prop bet for rushing yards was 775.5. You could put $100 down at the beginning of the year. You need 776 to cash. He finished the year with 775.
It's insane.
3 games left, but now he's out for the year, so he won't get another yard.
Yeah.
That is a tough beat. But I was listening to our colleagues, Gwen and Chris, yesterday on my drive into Channel 10. And Matt Scravey was telling an ultimate bad beat story. It was about a guy who had bet like $9 on a parlay with various, touchdown scores and things that had to happen over the weekend in the NFL. And the only one he missed, would have won almost $5,000, was a Jonathan Taylor touchdown.
Brutal.
Jonathan Taylor, the guy who was walking into the end zone and dropped the ball at the 1-inch yard line before crossing the goal line for no reason at all. And had he actually just held on to the football, that guy would have won his parlay and almost $5,000.
Yeah. That's a bad beat.
That is a really bad beat. But you're saying that I listen to too much sports talk radio. I would argue that I'm being a good colleague, listening to what the other shows are.
I'll give you that.
You are being a good colleague
when I'm on the air. Now, if you want to say it, you don't have to listen to Maggie and Perloff on the way in. They're not technically in this building. You don't work with them.
Right.
I understand that. I do feel it puts me in the right frame of mind in the morning as I'm coming in. Like, all right, what are the topics? What are people talking about at least? Maybe I'll get an inspiration or an idea as we're coming in that I can use on the show. If I'm listening to music, peaceful, definitely good for mental health. But I'm not probably coming up with any great show topic ideas based on the songs. Now, I heard the Strokes. That was a good song.
Great song.
Reptilia.
Reptilia.
That was one of the ones that I got. Sent me to a little George Harrison, My Sweet Lord.
And doesn't it put you in a good frame? You came in with a...
But am I in a bad frame of mind when I usually come in? I feel like I'm usually in a good frame of mind.
Decent. I just wanted to see. It's an experiment. It's a social experiment.
Yeah. Billy Idol, Eyes Without a Face.
What a song.
And then finished up with Linger by the Cranberries.
It's another great song.
Oh, and I also got Wicked Game by Chris Isaac.
Wicked Game. Puts you in a sexy mood.
Jeff Buckley, I don't know if they have anything in common, but that one led
sexy.
right to the other.
That's great.
Super sexy.
Well, and so what I didn't do What I should have done is said, no, you have to do it on your drive in because it's like an hour, at least every day. You're in the car for an hour. This is 20 minutes, 4 in the morning. You can
it's only
handle
5
this.
or 6 songs that's tops.
That would be the hard one for you. Going
Yeah,
from
in traffic,
Encinitas
just
in
waiting,
traffic
yeah.
and listening to music, I don't think you could. Look at him scratching himself right now like a junkie waiting for his next fit.
Honestly, the time that I will most deviate from sports talk will be on the drive home.
Yeah,
from Channel 10 late at night.
What do you do then? Silence?
Sometimes, just raw dog the drive in silence. Sometimes I will turn on music. Sometimes a podcast. It tends to be sports related for the most part. But.
I don't listen to sports radio. What I do is I listen to sports podcasts.
Yeah,
it's way different.
Totally different.
Well, I'm proud of
Matt
you.
Ginella talking golf or something.
I'm proud of you for.
But I did
for
it's
doing
so fascinating because
experiment.
I shut it down on the drive home.
Oh yeah,
I can't listen to sports.
I cannot.
I don't listen to sports on the way in because I like to listen to music. Kind of gets me fired up that early in the morning. And I don't listen to sports really throughout the day. I'll watch sports.
Yeah.
I might have like a sports talk show on ESPN or something, but I always get like fearful of potentially stealing
Me too.
an idea.
That's
a
what I
segment,
don't like
a bit,
to do.
A take.
Yep.
You don't want to do that because then if somebody's like, "Oh, I heard the same Max Kellerman said the same exact thing," you're like, "Oh yeah, it's
yeah." Oh, sorry, I just kited that from him immediately.
I guess
Are
if
you
you just
both
use it,
unclear on how sports talk radio works? That it's just a giant game of thievery from other people?
It is
entirely.
It is. But
I sometimes listen to Annie and Elston and hear them thieving things I said in the morning. And
Really?
I think it's great.
Not things that I said,
No,
just that
no,
you
just me.
said. Wow.
Just my takes.
Wow.
Not your takes. My takes.
I mean, I guess if you're driving in and you're like, "I heard
But
Maggie
then they put
and
their
Perloff saying this."
Yeah, but then they put their own spin on it. Like they add to it.
I don't want to like subconsciously regurgitate their opinions, their takes.
I mean, Matt
on our
Scravy's
show.
story about the guy was not. He didn't know him personally. He heard it from somewhere else and then passed it on, and then I pass it on my show.
You listen to the Big Fajita on the weekend?
Different audience. I do not listen to the Big Fajita. It's actually I actually do turn that one off.
The fact that you're even listening at that time
On the weekend is
it's popped on before.
it's concerning.
And then I've changed the channel to something else.
I think what I'm looking for is just for you. I said it before. When I like this, it just helps make you a little bit more well-rounded, not so sports focused. Does that make sense?
I feel like well-rounded is somewhat overrated.
It's not. It's not. You can talk about a multitude of different things. It's not
I
overrated.
can talk about a multitude of different things, Woods.
talk about golf.
Golf.
Yeah,
We can
golf,
talk about
basketball,
football,
history of basketball, football, baseball,
tennis, baseball.
What are you talking about?
soccer.
Multitude
It's like
of
8 different things.
That's true. That's true. You're right.
College basketball, women's college basketball.
Yeah.
So many different topics.
That's true. You're right. Yeah,
So I
actually,
have
you're
my
right. You're right.
fingertips.
I'm wrong. I watched last night. I clicked on Netflix, and what I fell asleep to was the Lakers Celtics documentary on. I'm more likely.
Who has the sports problem?
I know,
now?
right? I'm more likely to watch a documentary on hockey or basketball than I am to ever sit down and watch a game. 1,000%. I just watched Tough Guy, the Bob Probert story, for the 100th time. The documentary. It's on Amazon Prime. I love it. I'll watch a documentary about the Flyers of the 70s over and over and over. The hockey fight documentaries, no problem. But to sit down and watch a hockey game in the year of our Lord 2024 and just sit and, for me, raw dog a hockey game without a rooting interest, almost impossible.
Hockey tends to be a little repetitive, especially on television.
So does basketball. Basketball is
That's a good
massively
point.
repetitive. It's massively repetitive.
Probably just recency bias, 'cause
Especially
of the time
these
of year
days.
we're in. But like Red Zone's kind of screwed me up for all sports.
Of course.
You're like, what? It's people actually just sit down and watch one full game. Like obviously, I'll watch Padres games.
Yeah.
But after that, like it's tough sometimes.
I'll watch
for
any
me.
baseball game anytime, any
But
place.
people who don't like baseball will say, "What do you mean? That's the most repetitive thing. Pitcher throws to the
Yeah.
catcher. Pitcher throws to the catcher. Ooh, that one was 1 inch further to the left than the last one.
I guess that's true. I mean, it's
very exciting, Woods.
I guess it's how your brain.
Every sport's that way.
I guess it's how your brain is wired.
It really
is.
Hockey. Oh, they skated to their left.
They skated to the right. Oh, they put a shot from here and
lots.
a shot from here and then a shot from there in basketball and in football. Oh, they're all line up at the line of scrimmage and then they block each other and either they run or pass it every single time.
It's a really good documentary. If you haven't seen it, you'd like it. You're a Lakers fan. You grew up a Lakers fan. But they got Ice Cube narrating all the Lakers stuff. And then they're like, hey, how are you? It's me, Donnie Wahlberg. And I remember growing up in Boston in the 80s. And I'm like, you couldn't have found you couldn't have got, where's Matt Damon for this? Where's Ben Affleck? You got Donnie Wahlberg? I'll never forget being at the Garden. And I'm like, it's a really good documentary. It shows like how much these teams hated each other. So that is, it's
what
on.
You like are the stories.
I love the stories, man.
behind
yes.
And peel back the curtain
and you know
and
what
get
else?
those stories.
I like the
if they just it's highlights of that series, you'd have no interest whatsoever.
I like how they take all the best stuff and they package it together. Like The Last Dance, my favorite show of all time. I'll watch it on repeat all the time because they have it. It's nice and congealed for you. You don't have to actually sit through an entire game.
Adam Klug throws, no sport is more repetitive than NASCAR.
That's true. It's true.
Round and round and round they go.
Brandon says, I love golf, but even Ben would admit golf is repetitive to watch. Yeah, it is. I love it.
No more or less than any other sport,
every sport is repetitive.
Every sport is repetitive.
Every sport is, when you think about it, insanely repetitive.
Yeah.
And we've watched, for baseball, decades of it. And, but it's incredibly repetitive over and over again. Same guy throws to the same positions, pitcher, catcher, takes a swing.
It's funny,
it goes
man,
somewhere.
because one of the biggest things right now is, I was just mentioning and talking about it earlier, how old school baseball players are super mad where the game's going, et cetera, et cetera. Old school NBA fans are super mad where the game's going. The ratings aren't great in the NBA this year. I think we're going to talk about that at some point today. It is a different watch than it was. Baseball's going back to, the old guys like it, and they're still upset. It's going back. It's not – you're never going to have the Hal McRae takeout slide at second base again. As much as you want it, as much as you need it, you're never going to have it. It's never going to happen again. Okay, so you got to get that out of your head. They're never going to do that again. They're never going to blow up the catcher again. It's not going to happen. I'm with you in some respects. Then again, I don't need my $300 million shortstop wearing one from some guy hitting a $180, taking him out, on a double play. I don't need it. And neither do teams. So I'm kind of on board with that. But the game is getting closer to the way that it used to be. It really is. As far as the on-the-field play, there's more balls in play. Incredible athletes. Basketball is kind of going in the other direction right now.
Keegan says tennis is repetitive too.
Oh my God, is it ever?
It's repetitive in a confined space as well. It's like ping pong is even worse. Tony says soccer is not repetitive.
Yeah,
you have a bigger area, but you watch a soccer game. Oh, we're gonna back pass it to the defender. Who's gonna send it to the right defender?
Yep.
Who's gonna send it back to the left defender?
I think sports
and then
in general.
They're gonna. My argument is every sport we watch,
Figure skating
is incredibly repetitive.
My life's repetitive.
My life is too. Groundhog Day.
Downhill skiing. All right, they're going to ski down the mountain. One of them's going to do it in 1 minute, 58.03 seconds. And the next person who finishes ninth is going to do it in 158.19 seconds.
Yeah, it is very repetitive.
Every sport is really incredibly repetitive. Yet maybe that's part of the appeal for us, though, the familiarity. Just it's what you love, it's what you're used to, and when you like a sport, you do it.
Chat here, he says not MMA. That's probably the least repetitive. You're not going to see the same two fights, really.
I mean, you're not going to see the same two baseball games.
You're going to see the same two soccer games. Right. Yeah, they're all a little bit different in their own ways.
I like when we get philosophical about sports. That's my favorite part, because I really do. Because I do think there's something about the repetitiveness of it that is calming to us. It's calming. I know what I can generally expect.
One thing I love about baseball, though, and this happens many times a year, and you'll hear Jesse or even Don say it during the broadcast. It's like, I've watched so many baseball games, and yes, it's very repetitive, yet there's something you've never seen. Every once in every game, or at least, certainly regularly, you go, wow, I have never seen that in a baseball game. How could there be so many different outcomes in something that is so repetitive. But I think that was one of the great things about baseball.
Yeah, I think that's the deal. There's something comforting in the repetition of it. You know what, when you tune into something, you know what you can expect. Generally, with some outliers, you're going to see some diving catches or some amazing runs or a shot from a place that nobody makes buckets from. You're going to see that. Hockey, you're going to see a hit or something. But I think there's something comforting in sitting down. And I think for you get comforted listening to sports radio.
How about, since we were doing our September Wrapped, how about a triple play to end a game to clinch a playoff spot?
Unreal, man. Unreal. That alone should have catapulted us to the World Series. I really thought it was going to. God,
I mean, in all the
been
history,
the best documentary of all
in
time.
the history of baseball, come on, a triple play to end a game to send your team to the playoffs
makes it hurt even worse.
On your rival's field.
Yes, dude.
When it looked like everything was falling apart in that inning. Oh no, they're gonna blow this one, and then a triple play. Amazing.
How do we do this? All right, move on.
Bowling. It's very repetitive.
Very repetitive. Okay. Well, seek help, though, is what I'm telling
Thanks.
you.
Listen to some music for the love of God.
Yes. Even a book. How about an audio book? Not about sports.
We're going to be, I should probably do that.
Yeah.
If we're going to get philosophical, no one better to do it with than Jesse Agler.
100%.
He is just around the corner, bottom of the hour. Don't go away. We'll be right back after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
Jamul Casino. Fun above all else.
I'd imagine for you, Woods, it's nice as a diehard baseball fan to see a different sport in the torture chamber, as you would call it.
You know, I don't take. That's a lie. I was going to say I don't take pleasure in others' misfortune.
No,
I think I do. Let's be
and for
honest
years,
with
it was
each other.
baseball that was taking all
Every year, man.
all the hits from. Oh man, this sport is
Well,
getting longer and more boring.
Mostly from the former players.
It was, yeah.
Mostly from the former players.
And they made some changes. They were well received, and the game is better for it.
Correct.
Now it is basketball that is getting the criticism for becoming a worse version of itself based on the modern game, the metrics, the statistics that are driving things.
Do you guys remember the question I asked both of you about a month ago? I came in after watching it was the day after the anniversary of the Malice at the Palace. And I came in and I sat down and I go, hey, I got a question for both you basketball lovers. I said, do you remember the question?
Vaguely.
I said, okay, back in the day, you're watching these old basketball stories and it was, oh man, we got to go to blank. They're tough. They are going to beat us. They're going to kill us on the boards. They're going to elbow us. We got to go to Detroit. We got to go to Indiana. They're physical. We got to go here. We got to go there. And I asked you guys point blank. I said, you guys both follow the league still very much, way more than I do. Who's that team now? And both of you went,
doesn't really exist.
Doesn't really exist anymore. And I said, that I think is what is
now the argument of, oh, that team's so big, that team's so tough,
Yeah.
they're enforcing. You
Right.
know, now it's that team's so fast.
They're so
that
quick.
Team's so quick.
They move the
that
ball.
team can shoot lights out.
Yeah. So who's the toughest? Like in the modern NBA, who's like, oh man, you don't want to go against blank. They're gonna do the hard. They're gonna hard foul.
It's
You
part
can't
of the
do it.
rules. You can't do it.
But it was always part of
It
the
was
rules.
always part of the
Technically,
rules,
you're
yeah.
not allowed
The
to
rules
touch
are enforced differently now.
anyone in basketball.
Correct.
You're not supposed to touch at all. Like boxing out, well, that's a key part of rebounding. If the guy behind you is like bumping against you, technically that's a foul. So you shouldn't ever have to box out. He would have to go around you without touching you. Of course, it doesn't work that way. And there's always going to be some touching in basketball, but there's not supposed to be any in the sport.
Well, and it's funny too because again, I'm back to that documentary I watched last night, bro. I'll watch 10 minutes of the NBA these days and go, my God, what an elite bunch of athletes are out there. Aesthetically, watching Kevin McHale and watching Bill Laimbeer,
Again,
it wasn't great. You know what I mean?
Well,
it wasn't like
I
it
would
is.
say every sport has gone through that because
Yes.
now you can say back in the day, you know, you could crush the quarterback, can't even touch him now. Back in the day, you could plow through the
Yeah.
catcher, can't even touch him now.
I think Pacers 84, Pistons 78 was the worst version of basketball when they weren't calling fouls and defense dominated and
You
no
think that
one
was
could score.
worse?
I thought that was worse. I'd rather
You'd
see
rather
the
see
scoring.
130
now,
to 121?
Has the pendulum swung too far?
I think it
Some
has.
would argue it. In fact, one person who was arguing it this morning was our friend Boomer Esiason. I don't know if you caught his
this is unreal.
his rant in
a 6 a.m.
in
hour.
one of his Odyssey Sports Minutes.
Thanks, Ben, for playing it.
This is Boomer Esiason with an Odyssey Sports Minute. Tonight, Milwaukee plays Oklahoma City for the NBA Cup Championship in Las Vegas. If you're expecting me to preview this matchup, forget about it. Why? Because do we really care? The players might feel better about making extra money, but the NBA, especially during the regular season, has become unwatchable, folks. I'm sorry to say. It's a glorified three-point shooting contest. Now, I'm Boomer Esiason.
All right. Well, there is evidence of it. Just 2 nights ago, the Dallas Mavericks and Golden State Warriors, two of the most prodigious three-point shooting teams in the league, combined to set an NBA record with 48 made three-pointers in the Mavs' 143-133 win over the Warriors.
That is unbelievable. 143.
Yeah. And
It's tough. I don't know how to fix it, but the Warriors, I've said it before, it's not an original take by any stretch of the imagination, but the Warriors broke basketball because they 8 years ago,
They
or
figured it out.
9, 10 years ago, whatever it was, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, the Splash Brothers, they figured out there is a shot in this sport that is worth 50% more points.
Let's do it. Let's be great at it.
Master it.
Yeah.
And
Let's be
now
great at it.
every player in the NBA now was in high school, middle school, or whatever when that was happening, so they changed their game. Now they're today's NBA players, and that's all anybody does is chuck up threes.
Would you rather make 10 twos or 7 threes?
Right.
7 threes
Yep.
is worth 1 more point than 10 twos, and you don't have to make as many of them. So
Can you
it's
imagine
changed
the late
game.
90s seeing a 7-footer stepping out and shooting threes
No.
on the regular?
No,
Absolutely
it was
not.
rare to see a 7-footer. You know,
I
it
guess
really
the
was.
only thing that I don't hate seeing 3-point shots. It's to me, it's not the worst thing.
I hate seeing 3-point misses. That's what I hate. There was a
Clank,
series somebody showed.
clank,
There was a 5-minute period that somebody highlighted on Twitter the other day. It was 5 minutes. Nobody scored, and it was nothing but 3 clang, 3 clang, 3 clang. I get it. I get it.
I
It's
would
much
argue,
like
though,
it's
that
much
those,
like it's
those
much like
longer rebounds create a little chaos sometimes. And actually can be good for entertainment.
But
And-
it was baseball 5 years ago. K, walk, K, walk, K, and you're just like, oh my God, pitching change, K, walk, K. It's excruciating. So there is a problem. There is a problem in the NBA. You know what I don't see though? And I don't watch enough. You guys could probably answer this more than me. When they go to Chuck and Shaq, and are those guys ripping the game like the old baseball players do?
They
like a sport.
Not
like a second
not,
sport?
Not as much as you'd think. They play along pretty well.
I
as
think I
league
saw
partners.
that same clip that you're talking about.
Did you see that?
I'm sure if you put that in front of them on TV
They would rip
and
it.
let Chuck and Shaq just go, they would destroy those guys.
It was Bulls Knicks. Adam says, "Yeah, I saw. I was dying. I was laughing. I was like, that's excruciating."
But I don't get the sense that like those guys who are 10 to 20 years removed from the league, I don't think they hate the sport right now. I don't know how what's his name? Like Bill Wennington feels about basketball anymore.
Right. Bill Wennington.
Like random
like I said,
80s or 90s
like I said, man, I'm watching last night and I'm watching Kevin McHale just like scratching and clawing people, and I'm like, did I like this better? I'm like, I think I did, because these guys genuinely hated each other, and that always breeds a good game. And I just, the thing about baseball in comparison is it's usually like I watched Will Clark recently just ragging on hitters, ragging on him. And I look at baseball players today and I go, my Lord, Will Clark, as great as he was, that dude got to face the number 3 starter 4 times a game. He got to face the number 4 starter 4 times a game. Might have to get a pretty elite closer every now and then. But man, after 2 or 3 at-bats, a hitter of his caliber, he's got him timed up. That's easier to hit.
They
for
didn't know
800.
it back then.
They didn't know
but
it.
it was always true.
Right. It was always true.
The 3rd time through the order
Correct.
penalty, the 4th time through the order penalty. They didn't realize it was a thing back then, but it was a thing.
It absolutely was.
And pitchers got hurt because of it.
Yep. And I just, it's so hard to hit 300. It's so hard to hit 300 in any league, but it's really hard now.
Chris nails it. Draymond Green. He's the closest
He's
thing
the
you'll
closest
see to
thing.
the 90s.
Yep.
And he's been ostracized.
Everyone hates him.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
so,
wild.
It's just kind of the way it is.
But getting the hand checking out of the game to allow the ball handlers to do their thing, I think that was a good thing for basketball. Allow playmakers to make some plays out there when they don't have a guy absolutely draped on their forearm the entire time. You got to give them a little bit of space. I thought that was a good thing.
Yeah.
Maybe the 3 is a little too much.
I'm going to ask Jesse about it, because Jesse always has a good.
He's very philosophical, as we just mentioned, and he's going to join us. Voice of the Padres, a final 2024 check-in with Jesse Agler coming up next with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
What are you looking at over there? Let's go. What are you looking at?
Trying to respond in our chat, but I somehow changed it to subscribers only mode.
Oh, no.
And I don't know how I did that or how I can undo it.
What are you responding to?
Someone asked if I should be scared about the wave of drone sightings over sensitive military bases.
I think that's a topic for another day.
I was going to type in no.
We have the GOAT.
Be
on
scared
the
for the drones you can't see.
Correct.
The ones you can see, I'm not too worried about. All right, yeah, we got Jesse Agler standing by. Final 2024 check-in with the voice of the Padres, and we will do that after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change, your trusted instant drive-thru oil change. Freeways are looking pretty good around the county. Just one thing to mention here, possible brush fire is starting up. This is near the Convoy Street on-ramp to eastbound 52. Some smoke visible from that right shoulder. Stop by any of the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Oil Change Centers. You don't have to get out of your car. Usually only takes 15 minutes or less, plus get a free courtesy check of your tires and battery. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for directions and discounts. SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I was just checking. It has now been over 2 months since we last heard Jesse Agler calling the action here on 97.3 The Fan. And guess what? We're only 2 months away from hearing Jesse Agler calling the action again in spring training. So technically, we're right in the midpoint between the last game and the next game here on our radio station. And joining us now is our good friend, voice of the Padres, Jesse Agler, here on 97.3 The Fan. Happy holidays, Jesse.
You guys as well. What, Padres Mariners February 20th at 12:10 Pacific? Is that right?
So October 11th was the last one. So we're like right here today is the midpoint between the last game and the next game.
I'm ready. Let's go.
I know you are.
Let's get it started. Yeah.
I know you are. We always talk in the off season at least once, and you spend the off season learning about maybe some of the new additions to the team. The homework so far has been a little bit quiet. Probably have some Oscar Gonzalez notes, some Jose Nunez notes, perhaps, but been a little bit slow. And I know we've gotten spoiled around here, Jesse. The last few years certainly been very active.
I think, slow now for sure, obviously, but that doesn't mean it's going to be slow tomorrow or slow in January or slow during spring training. I mean, remember the Cease deal was made last year right before we went to Korea.
Yep.
You go back to the Kimbrel trade at the very beginning of the Preller era. I think that was the day before opening day, if I recall. I want to say it was like Easter Sunday, and opening day was Monday. So, look, AJ is different than most other heads of baseball operations in that, he doesn't seem to get too caught up in like the timing of things. Even the Arise trade last year was sort of off the beaten path in terms of transactions. It was like early May, right? And I mean, that's not generally when you see a trade of that sort of impact go down in Major League Baseball. So, yeah, I mean, has it been slow? Yes. Is that horrible for you guys? Absolutely. But like, does it mean anything, in regards to like what may or may not happen between now and opening day? I don't think so. I think, there's still going to be plenty that happens. And I mean, you go back to 3-4 years ago now at this point, the Snell, Darvish, Musgrove deals all went down. 2 of them on the same day.
That was insane.
The other one, a few days later, that was like a flurry. So not that I'm necessarily predicting that kind of thing to go on. But, look, it's AJ. You ain't going to sleep just because it's Christmas or whatever next week. And you never know. You never know.
Jesse, has 2 months of perspective changed at all your view of last season? The good, the bad, how it ended. Did it lessen the sting of the 2 shutouts to finish the year? Just kind of what has 2 months done for you?
No, I still feel it pretty good. I do. And I would guess I'm not alone in that, among fans and people who are around this team, and obviously the players, coaches, and the staff. The way it went down, the 24 innings without scoring, that having an opportunity to close it out at home, that part of it obviously is tough. The fact that Dodgers is tough. The fact that as that postseason rolled on, you realized pretty quickly that those were the 2 best teams in baseball, the Padres and the Dodgers. And, I'm not going to go so far as to say no matter what, whoever won that series was going to win the World Series, because we know that baseball is a little bit crazier than that. But like odds were. And obviously, it turned out that the Dodgers did. It's tough. It was really, really tough. It was a magical year. I was at a team event last week, and they had this great video that our brilliant video department made. Kind of counting down the top 10 moments of the year. And as I'm watching it, I was like, what an unbelievable season it was. And like, had only 5 of those things happened, it would have been an unbelievable season. So, it did for a lot of the year kind of feel like a team of destiny, a team that was, meant to do special things. But as I probably said to you guys, either late in the regular season or early in the playoffs, that's what every team feels like in October. The Mets felt that way with all the rabbits they were pulling out of their hats and what they did in that extra day after the normal end of the regular season against Atlanta and the way they beat the Brewers. And then they ran into the Dodgers and couldn't get it going. I know the Dodgers obviously felt that way. The Yankees probably felt that way, knowing they had this 1 year at least of Soto and Judge. So, it's a tough pill to swallow. The way it went down was tough. I don't really feel any better about it today than I did on October 12th. But once that calendar flips and maybe some of those moves start to get made, and I know certainly when I roll into Peoria, in early mid-February, it'll be like, all right, all sights ahead and let's get this thing going.
Talking to the great Jesse Agler here on Ben and Woods. You know what's funny? I was thinking about as you were talking about all of the great moments, and when we sat down with everybody at spring training, they all were a little sheepish, really, at how 2023 ended. And I know that probably some beefs and things like that, and culture got out of control, and lack of culture, and all these things were brought up, and there was a real concerted effort to come together to make sure it was a better season, and it was infinitely better. But it seemed like, all right, we had these bad things happen, and we learned from them. The only bad thing that happened last year, Jesse, was 24 scoreless innings to end the season. Yeah. And I don't know that they're going to come in and sit down and go, yeah, after some serious reflection, this is how we fix that. That's one of those dumbass things that literally can just be summed up as, hey, that's baseball, and it happens, and you move on. There aren't many lessons to learn other than let's kind of try to keep those good vibes going and see where we fall, right?
Yeah, it's the tricky thing, right? Because, it's very easy to sort of weave narratives, as you guys need to do, as we need to do on the broadcast, as the writers need to do, kind of the connective tissue of one season to the other. And you're right. Like, I think it's honest what you just said, that there were lessons learned from 23 applied to 24. That's true. But I think what's also true is that it's like every season is its own little package. And as much as like the culture thing got talked about with 2023, to me, the real issue was, the runners in scoring position, the one-run games, the extra innings. And I mean, there's some connecting there between culture and that, but I don't think a ton. That was a weird, fluky thing that happened. And did they have a better approach at the plate last year? Absolutely. Yep. Were they able to add a guy like a Rise who, kind of changed the approach top down? Absolutely. Like, those things all matter. So it's easy to say, all right, just kind of run it back and do it. But the reality is the team is going to be different, good and bad. There are going to be things that are better. There are going to be things that aren't as good. But yeah, I guess, maybe Mike Schultz's message will be, and it's a great question for Mike when we get to Arizona, is like, what is, the big picture message? Is it like, hey, let's pick up where we left off? Not literally in those last 2.5 games, but generally speaking. And, let's run it back? Or is it, what are the things to kind of focus on? But like, to me, it's always a little bit of a weird conversation, because as much as we want to make it, flow from one season to the next, the reality is there's going to be so many guys in that clubhouse that weren't a part of last year, and they're going to be important. This time last season, we were not thinking about, aware of Donovan Solano, David Peralta, Dylan Cease, all people that ended up having huge impact on what last year looked like. So, it'll be fascinating, as it always is. And look, that's, as much as it drives us crazy, that's the fun of sports, is that it is not scripted. It's not always going to have a happy ending, and you really don't know how it's all going to unfold. So I guess buckle in again.
Catching up with Jesse Agler, the voice of the Padres, here one last time in 2024. And Jesse, you and I actually have something in common. We were both prominently featured in the Dodgers introductory hype video for Blake Snell. I was so surprised by it. I refused to believe it was me. Like, that couldn't possibly be me.
Jesse, I don't know if you heard our segment on this.
I actually heard that.
Dude, he was vehemently against that it was him. And I'm like, no one, we don't think you and Jesse drove up and did this,
we didn't record something in a studio for us.
An LA production studio?
Yeah, we went up to Dodger Stadium.
That what he's looking for in free agency is a team that can help him continue to be the best version of himself, and a team that is set up to win for years to come.
He thought it wasn't him. I mean, I guess it kind of sounds like me. We're like, you moron. That's you.
I was like, is this a bit? What are you doing? That's you.
Jesse, I instantly recognized. I knew Jesse. That makes more sense. You called Blake Snell's action. If they want play-by-play of Blake Snell, they've got to go pretty much to Jesse Agler or maybe 1 year of Giants broadcasting. So that made more sense.
That's kind of, not to cut you off, but that's what I found interesting is that, they had an opportunity for John Miller, right? Who is the greatest active major league broadcaster and guys, the most delightful human being on planet Earth. But he is an icon. He is, it's, as far as I'm concerned, Vin Scully and John Miller, 1A and 1B in what we do and what we've done. So, it was only the 1 year, and I know Blake was hurt part of the year, but they had plenty of opportunity to go pull John Miller stuff. And I don't know, that was my thought. I was like, are they trying to mess with the Padres fans? By
he threw
using
a no-hitter in San Francisco, did he not?
Yeah,
he threw a no-hitter.
That's a pretty good call, I'd say.
And they could have gone Dwayne Kuiper, Mike Krukow, John Miller, Dave Fleming. The Giants, top to bottom, you could very easily argue the best broadcast team in baseball.
Yep.
Aside from ours.
Aside from your guys.
And not really. And so, they had that opportunity. So the next time you hear a Dodger fan be like, no, the Giants are our main rivals, not the Padres. Historically, yes, of course. That's an ancient rivalry that goes back to New York. But, I don't know. It kind of felt to me like a little bit of a troll job. And I tip my cap to a good troll job.
We did
because
too.
They were subtle enough about it that, your average fan is probably not going to even notice it. But if you're sort of in the online trolley world of caring about such things, that's going to get you. And you guys obviously are sort of the kings of that universe, which is a compliment. And so I kind of I was like, all right, okay, Dodgers, I see you.
It was fantastic. It really was. Again, tip your hat and all that.
It was hard to be mad at it.
It was hard to be mad. It was really well played. It was very well played. Well, what's on the agenda, Jesse, for the holiday season? Are you in town? How's the off season been for you?
Off season's good. It's I always tell people it's a life of two extremes. During the baseball season, it's all baseball, no family, and then in the regular season, it's all baseball, no family, and then this time of year, it's all family, no baseball. So it's a weird, kind of life to live, but it is what it is. But, being home, you get a little bit more of an opportunity for the hilarious, delightful kid moments that you miss out on so much during the summer. And a great one this morning, in fact, came downstairs. My son, who's 8, he's in 3rd grade, was already up. And usually he's watching, whatever kids show in the morning. And I come down and I look at the TV and it was the Today Show was on. And I was like, Joan, are you here? I didn't see him at first. He was kind of laying on the floor, and and he pops up. He's like, hey, Dad, I'm watching the news. I was like, oh, okay.
All right.
And he looks at me and goes, how about those Menendez brothers?
Oh, my God.
Speaking of Menendez brothers.
Well,
I was like, And so I'm like, okay. So I clear my head, right? I go over to make the coffee, a pot of coffee. And am I hallucinating? Am I just exhausted? And as I'm putting the stuff in the coffee machine, he goes, ooh, holiday savings 101.
Little Ben Higgins on your hands over there.
Good segment, That's
one of
news you can use.
Jesse, one of mine dropped a deuce in the shower last night, and the other one vomited in my bedroom at midnight. So yeah,
there you go. You get a little 1-2 punch.
It is a great time of year to just be home with the family as much as you can. Well, we miss you, man. Thank you for checking in with us, and we'll talk very soon.
Let's talk after the next big trade.
Can't wait. We will call you immediately.
Or
no, that Tuesday at 8:30.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Or we'll see you at spring training. One of the two.
Come to fantasy camp. Come to fantasy camp this year. You'll really enjoy it.
I was talking to Mudd about fantasy camp the other day. He was giving me all the good dirt, the fantasy camp dirt. It does sound like an unbelievable time.
It's
unbelievable.
It's the best time ever. Really. I think people would love if you came out for
I
a
get the
day.
best of both worlds. I don't actually have to play baseball, but I go now, and I moderate a
He
panel.
gets yelled at by Goose Gossage.
That's true. Goose yells at me. That's always scary.
You're a nerd, too. Goose v. Agler would be a good debate.
Yeah.
I would like to see that.
I've done an event with Goose when the All-Star game was here in 2016. It was an event with Goose, Raleigh, Ozzie Smith, Dave Winfield, and Gaylord Perry, and it was, I was dorking out. It was awesome. I got to moderate a panel with them, a corporate event. It was really, really neat, and I got Gaylord Perry to admit to cheating, so I felt like I had done something.
That's amazing. Well, you're the GOAT, man. We love you. We appreciate you. Happy holidays to you and the family. And good luck with the holiday savings.
Same time. We have tips now. We have hints. We know what to do. Like he's buying retail. Yeah, exactly.
good.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank
buddy.
You guys.
Appreciate
Jesse Agler, the voice of the San Diego Padres, one last time here in 2024 on 97.3 The Fan. I'm glad
that just
we did
made
that.
me so happy. I
Just
love
hearing his voice does bring a smile to my face, and it hasn't lessened the pain. 2 months has not lessened the pain of the ending of this last season, and I don't even know if the start of the next season will. But yeah, I did the math today, and we are right exactly at the midway point between the last game and the next game, the first spring training game.
How about this narrative? Let's say the Padres don't score for their first 5 innings in 2020. Well, it's 29 straight innings. It's, I can already hear. They better score in the first
I need a
inning.
leadoff home
I
run.
need a leadoff home run. Yes.
I will settle for nothing less.
Like I need air to breathe. I cannot do this again. I can't do it. I won't do it.
All right, Paulie's got a Ryle Report. We can talk some Monday Night Football and more. Final hour of Ben and Woods next here on 97.3 The Fan.
Nice views here.
Final hour, Ben and Woods. What are you guys eating?
Bagel.
Bagel.
Half a bagel. I'm not a glutton.
You're so moderate.
It was so good. What kind of cream cheese did you get on yours?
I didn't even see what it was.
I got like the onion chive
I got
one.
regular.
Oh, they didn't have regular.
They never have regular. They always have the flavored
garden,
cream
honey.
cheeses.
I got the honey.
You got the honey.
I just like plain cream cheese.
I do too, but I like this onion one.
But the chive one's not bad. But you didn't bring me one.
I didn't know. I never know what to do.
That's true. It's
with
fair.
your
I can
weight
go get
loss
one on
and
my own.
stuff.
Well, I couldn't go get one on my own.
Why?
So I almost realized this during the break, but I have a low-level phobia of people in costume.
Oh,
interesting.
I really do. It makes me uncomfortable to see people dressed up. It's probably why I'm not as enthusiastic about Halloween or Christmas and holiday extravaganza as you guys are.
Your costume, by the way, is so elite
I know,
for Friday.
and
It's
I will be
incredible.
wearing it. But I do, when I see other people in costume, it just makes me uneasy. And there was a Grinch out in our
this
lobby
was really weird.
while I was there, and I was going, I'm just going to stay here in our studio because I don't want to accidentally run into the Grinch.
Are you scared
I am a
of
little
the Grinch?
scared. Well, it really doesn't. Clowns, Grinches, anyone
Mascots?
in full mask or makeup or
Salty the Seal.
Even the mascots. I'm a little uncomfortable around.
The Friar?
Friar, I'm uncomfortable around. I even know one of the people in the Friar costume.
I know Salty. I'm never afraid.
And I am still somewhat uncomfortable around them. Is that
was
weird?
That was very bizarre. I got up to go to the
This was
restroom
weird.
during the commercial break, and I looked into the elevator lobby here of the studios, and there was the Grinch, full costume, a Santa outfit, and everything, just standing there in front of the glass doors. So I kind of look around, and I'm like, "Hi, Mr. Grinch." Doesn't say anything. He's just kind of
Stands there.
staring at me, and I look over, and I'm like, "This is weird. Are you here for somebody?" And we're not the only radio show here right now.
Nope.
Like other shows invite guests in.
Yeah, did you invite the Grinch up to do a kooky radio bit? No.
He was not invited.
The Grinch showed up here unannounced.
To
Here's the
drop
other.
off.
Very Grinchy of him.
Very. So Paulie says, he's talking to him. I walk by and he goes, Woodsy. Grinch finally talks. And he goes, Paulie goes, he actually knows you. And I said, hey, who is that? And I pulled the mask up and I recognized the guy. He said, I used to hit home runs off you.
I didn't see you rip his mask
I
off.
did pull his mask up. And I said,
It's like a Scooby-Doo finale.
So I remember this guy. I don't think this guy's ever taken me deep.
He remembers it differently.
Definitely not multiple
The Grinch
times.
isn't known for his ethics or honesty. Let's just be clear.
I've given up my fair share of bombs in adult league. I don't think this guy got me. I could be wrong.
It was kind of unsettling, though, to realize, there's just somebody in a full mask, costume, and everything.
Yeah.
Not expected in the building, not invited, and not talking. You're like, this
is how people
not
get
good.
killed, right? That would be a move to come up here and, he really doesn't like your sports takes, Ben, and it was very, very weird. And he wasn't speaking at the time.
I mean, I'll change the takes if you want me to. It's not that big of a deal to me.
I walked by and John from down the hall was talking to him. He goes, I got to be honest, Mr. Grinch, you're freaking me out right now and you're not talking.
Because
you're
the
just
Grinch
staring
talks.
at me. Yeah, the Grinch talks.
He talks the whole movie. He's never silent, really. It's a weird
monologues a lot.
100%.
Like talks to no one except the dog.
He's
It
on
looks
his
like a reindeer.
He's on his soapbox a
a
lot.
lot about how much he dislikes Christmas and the Who's and Cindy Lou Who.
Nate
all the
says,
presents.
Where's security? We did have our guy Mike was all over it.
He was.
and there to make sure everything was okay, but it was kind of unsettling at first.
Pro tip: don't dress in costume and show up unannounced somewhere. You're gonna put people on. You just looked. What?
Just checking.
Okay.
I'm just
Or
I'm wary.
at least talk through your mask. Hey,
don't
my
worry.
name's
I
so-and-so,
just
I'm
came to drop
yeah.
off some cookies or
Right.
something.
Sing
right?
don't telegram.
Don't just stand there.
That was weird. I don't, because we have our Christmas and holiday show on Friday. But I'll tell you this right now. My wife she's burned me out on Christmas. so far. I need to get reinvigorated in the spirit. We were driving last night to dinner and with the kids, and I go, can we give... I go, babe, I want to be excited about Friday. It's the Christmas and holiday extravaganza. I told you this yesterday when we were walking out. I said, I've been inundated with Christmas this year. It's too much. I said, next year you're going to wait 3 weeks after Thanksgiving to start. Because she started about the week before Thanksgiving. And the tree was up, and it's just been very Christmassy. And so I think next year I'm going to try to distance myself a little bit from it so I can be more in the Christmas spirit.
I'm a big believer that traditionally, the holiday seasons were the right length.
Yeah.
Like when they were created. Christmas is a season. It's like, 3 or 4 weeks.
Right.
Halloween's just a couple of days. Now Halloween is all October.
Correct.
And Christmas is, bleeding into November and all the way into January. They've stretched the seasons too far.
The other thing too,
Too long.
The other thing too is that the schools, everyone wants to do extra stuff at this time of year. And my, I guess probably cold take is, hey, listen, teachers and administration, you're about to be on your holiday Christmas break. We're going to be with our kids. We get them for the 2 weeks. Maybe we don't need to do the thing where we have to come to the school 3 days a week. Now, this week before, we're going to have them for 2 weeks, and you're going to be free of them.
Let's do that when you're in the middle of a 14-week stretch
Correct.
of
Correct.
school without any breaks.
Correct.
We'll come in, in the 7th week for a couple of days.
Exactly. We'll come in. We'll do
mix it up a little
We'll do
bit.
a lunch. We'll do the whole thing. It's every day. There's something new.
Quickly before the Ryle Report, Jeff in our chat says he's been a mascot when he lived in Michigan. Houdini the owl.
Who's that for?
I don't know. Little kids had one of two reactions. 1, absolute terror. 2, ecstatic joy and excitement. Ben, one of the former.
So
Yeah,
has it
I think
always
it's-
been this way for you?
Yeah, I've never really been a big fan of mascots, costume characters. Even at Disneyland, I did not want to meet Mickey Mouse or Pluto.
Really?
No.
Interesting.
No.
Where do you think
no
that comes
desire.
from?
I think it's
the oversized features.
I think it's somewhat either built in as human nature. It's like
Why is
fight
ears
or-
so big? It doesn't
fight
make sense.
or flight feature. Yeah.
You're logical. You're like, there's no way a mouse can be this
Right.
big.
It's not right. Something's not right here.
That dog can't talk.
That dog is way too big. You're very logical.
Something. What is goofy? No one even
Nobody
knows.
even knows. I think it does make sense, though, if you have a logical brain, that's the big features and whatnot is probably what gets you.
Yeah. And I've just kind of held on to it, apparently, my whole life.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Paul, you're up.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Ryle Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Ryle Report with Paul Rindle.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Ryle Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right. We will start off with some Monday Night Football, gentlemen. We talked about it briefly in our 6 o'clock hour, and if you missed it last night, you didn't miss anything. 2 pretty terrible games. We still haven't decided on. It wasn't a doubleheader because they were running at the same time. I think 20, 25 minutes apart from each other. But yesterday the Vikings took care of the Bears 30-12.
Covered.
Vikings moved to 12-2 on the season, and then the Raiders lost at home to the Falcons 15-9. I saw Tank for Shador signs at Allegiant Stadium. And it's just, they were not fun games to watch. I thought the best moment of the night, though, goes to Justin Jefferson. Caught a touchdown. That's pretty common for him. But everything going on with Vikings legend Randy Moss. Here's what happened on Justin Jefferson's touchdown celebration. He scores, he does the gritty, and then he walked up right to the ESPN cameras.
The touchdowns of Minnesota. This will be key again tonight. Play action from Darnold. End zone. Touchdown Jefferson.
We love you, Randy.
I love it.
That's for you.
Shout out to Randy Moss.
Shout out to Randy Moss. Gave him the hearts. That's for you, Randy. We love you. Have we talked about Randy Moss this week?
Maybe not
briefly.
Briefly, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about his mysterious illness.
We had the update
He announced that he did get diagnosed with cancer, and a lot of well wishes pouring out for Randy Moss.
Yep.
By the way, 7 straight wins now for the Vikings. Not only 12-2, Paulie, and tied with Detroit, but also tied with Philadelphia for the best record. Only one can be the top seed with the bye, though, in the NFC. So that's setting up for a pretty big finish.
I mean, what Kevin O'Connell's done with the reclamation of
Sam
Darnold? I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. Maybe he'll be the first USC quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl.
The really big debate is Sam Darnold, I think, is just on the 1-year contract. So he's going to be a free agent. Do you go out and spend a bunch of money for Sam Darnold knowing you don't get Kevin O'Connell with him, though? Will he be the same without Justin Jefferson, without Kevin O'Connell, without Jordan Addison? You put him on your team, he probably looks more like
Sam Darnold
again. But right now, he looks great. But they've got J.J. McCarthy, who's coming back next year healthy. They already draft their new quarterback, so they may not keep him. Yeah,
that's tough.
Yeah,
I mean, they're playing good, man.
Congratulations, Kirk Cousins, for his first touchdown pass in 5 weeks.
Wow,
good job, Kirk. Falcons needed that one. They're not out of it. They're only a game out of first place at 7-7 behind the Bucs.
Yeah,
so
they have the tiebreaker.
They're very much still in playoff contention despite going nearly 5 weeks without a touchdown pass.
It's hard to fathom.
That's the state of the NFC right now.
Pretty much. Okay, news this morning. Conor McGregor has not fought since 2021, but he's been in the news recently for all the wrong reasons.
Correct.
Horrible reasons, actually. And he's back in the news today because he announced he will be coming back to fight, but he's going to delay his return to the octagon, and he's agreed to face Logan Paul in a
kill me, Dad.
boxing exhibition.
Logan's the other one. He's not the one who fought Tyson.
Logan,
that was
correct.
Jake. Okay.
Logan's the one that's been doing like WWE. I think he's done a few exhibition boxing matches as well. And here we go again.
I want the meteor to come at this point. Wipe out Logan, Jake.
It's our fault. We all watched Jake and Tyson.
We sure did. I sat there fighting.
So you knew they were going to try it again.
Fighting through streaming issues for 6 hours.
There you go.
Conor against Logan Paul.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
In India.
Tony says, just don't watch.
Haven't seen any dates.
You're right.
I don't think I will.
That one I'm okay with not watching at all.
Does anyone know why they made the MMA rings octagonal as opposed to
why
just
they're
square?
octagons?
Yeah.
To be different, maybe.
Just to be different?
And not circular or
to
square.
be circular.
Oh, there's no corners also? Like,
right, okay. You
there's
don't want
no,
to
like,
stuck,
you don't
in, a
stuck in a corner,
okay, so
maybe?
I can see why you don't want it. But you could just make it a circle. They made it an octagon.
Yeah, it's true. I think it looks cool.
Could have been a hexagon.
Could have been a pentagon.
Dodecagon.
What is a dodecagon?
It's a 12-sided, I believe.
I never heard of that one before. Good.
And then finally, I guess I just have a simple question for you because the internet's been split. How do you guys eat a candy cane? A poll was taken online by the
what are the options here?
Ben throws his in the garbage.
The internet split on how to properly
biting
eat
into it and chewing it? Is that one of the options?
Do you suck it?
I
Or
guess
do you bite it?
what end?
Okay.
The hook or the
the bottom end. I'm not a psychopath. Who eats the hook first?
So according to this poll,
I hold it by the handle is the bottom.
No, you hold it by the hook
eat
and
the
you
hook.
No, you start the bottom part.
No,
yes,
you hold the bottom part.
No.
And you get more surface area.
Look at him
on the hook part, and thus you extract more flavor in each.
No. It's the same flavor.
Entry into the mouth.
Yeah,
no, you don't hold the hook.
You hold the hook.
Then you're just like,
I hold the hook.
Then you're just like choking yourself by sticking a long rod down your throat.
Oh.
How big are your candy canes that you're eating? Mine are just normal size.
We're talking like average, above average.
So where? Okay, you're holding it. By the shaft.
It's not. Yes.
Okay, and then you go to the hook,
and you just put the whole hook in.
You put the whole hook in your mouth.
Yeah,
you put the whole thing.
That's a lot of.
Then you insert and pull it
out.
Yeah.
Do you bite?
Not until it's been loosened a little bit and like not as thick anymore. But once you kind of get tired of the process,
You just want it to be over.
Then you'll jar loose a small piece. And
I think we're all familiar with that. Just want it to be over.
Wow.
Ben's like a fish. Like to be hooked.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want that hook anywhere near my mouth.
It's not sharp.
It's the last thing I eat. The hook is the last thing. Spencer says, give it a little talk to him. Talk to it. Both my idiot kids running around my house saying it still to this day. To this day.
No idea.
No
what they're
idea
saying.
what it means. They asked me again last night. What does that mean? I go, don't worry about it. They hear it all the time.
Wow.
Zach says Ben has to know what he's doing right now. I promise you I don't.
It's unbelievable.
I never do.
It's been the horniest guy alive.
Got a lot of work for myself later today. Wow.
Video clips, audio clips.
Yeah, it's going to take probably a year. Yeah, this is why we didn't get the SDFC kit. That's exactly segments like that. God.
54% of people polled start with the straight end.
That's me and you.
Yes. 30% start with the curved end. 16% break them apart.
Oh, no.
And eat them piece by piece, and the rest don't like.
Does anyone have it like corn?
Corny. One of my kids would do it, probably. God. How do we feel also? How do we feel about the different flavored? How do we feel about the different flavored candy canes? I'm straight
peppermint.
I'm straight peppermint.
I
I don't like those rainbow ones.
I don't mind like the like a Jolly Rancher
I don't like 'em.
flavored.
Candy cane is peppermint to me.
Peppermint.
It's candy.
Yes.
It can be
it's
whatever.
true.
It can be whatever.
No, then it's a lollipop. If
Yeah,
it's
then it's a
anything other
lollipop.
than peppermint,
Peppermint.
In the
it's
shape
just
of a cane. It's literally a candy cane.
I guess technically you're right.
How about those little turds that they give out in the plastic wrapping, and that you can't even chew them? They're so stale.
They're too small.
They're from the 70s.
They're too small
Yeah.
to eat on either end,
Correct.
but they're too stale to chew.
And they're
It's the
so
worst.
stale.
That
They're
doesn't
so
like the
stale.
small
How about the ones that are wrapped so tightly
Yes,
in
you
the
can't
plastic
get it, and then they shatter.
get them out and shatter?
You take
in the
okay.
plastic
We all
wrapper.
do this, right? We bite the end, and then it just shatters like in your fingers, and you're like, "Son of a bitch!" You got peppermint flakes all over you.
Well, it was fun while it lasted.
God, I'm with you 100%. 100%. Well, thank you for that, Paulie.
No, thank Ben.
The hook. He goes right for the hook.
And we have candy canes that we put on the hang on the tree.
Yeah, of
that
course.
have been in the decorations box
Since
for
the 80s,
years.
yeah.
Don't eat those. Don't eat them. 20-year-old candy cane.
Yeah, it's just ace. Do not touch these. Oh, it's so good. Oh,
I guess just a shameless plug if you're listening to us right now on the radio or podcast or the app, you probably should go back and watch just those last
Go back and
6
watch.
minutes or whatever, because Ben.
Trust Paulie's going to clip it at some point.
Yes,
so.
that should be on Instagram by the end of the day.
Oh yeah. Man. The hand motions.
Straight for the hook, he says.
Just get the whole thing in there.
Yeah, get that whole thing.
I didn't
in
know
there.
anyone did it any other way. I'm
It's the only
so
way to
surprised.
do it. It gives you a built-in holder. The hook is your built-in holder, and you just
I love how when
How
I
do you hold your
presented
toothbrush?
by the straight end.
They're all both straight. I mean, you're used to.
What?
That's what I hold it on the straight end, and I eat the hook. Like a toothbrush, almost like a toothbrush.
Yeah, but there's no. If my toothbrush had a hook,
You would hold it by the hook?
if it was a hook with the straight end with the brush at the top, then I would hold it by the hook.
You'll
'cause it's a
hold
nice-
whatever end is
whatever
the opposite,
end
of the
of the brush.
No, that's true.
I love how when I started to present that story, you both were so convinced that
Yes.
there was only one way, totally separate ways.
Unbelievable. We should have
Breaking
saved that.
news.
We
Ben
should have
Woods
saved
very
that
different
segment.
again.
Yeah, we should have saved that segment.
Well, I
for
didn't know
Friday.
Ben was going to.
That was the surprise.
Got a text. Jesus, man, are you trying to effing kill me? From our buddy David.
All right. Well,
There's already I'm being sent gifts right now. Look.
Hashtag candy canes. With Ben and Woods. We'll be right back
Legendary.
after traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
Well, if you like that content, you guys are going to love Friday's show because we've got a lot of, Christmas and holiday content and deviant behavior by Ben. There is one thing we're doing on Friday.
Extravaganzating.
Yeah. There's one thing on Friday that we're doing that I mean, we stole it. I saw it online and thought we have to do this. It's not an original idea. I will fully admit we stole this. And to see you do this on Friday, and I'm going to do it with you. Paulie, are you going to do it too?
I'll do it.
All right, we're all going to do it. Maybe we'll take on a tier 1. We'll pick a random tier 1 and have them do it with us.
Do you think any of us will
No,
actually get it?
I don't.
I don't either.
I don't.
You've told me about it.
I've shown you.
Is it that difficult?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Yes. But it's
like we need a time limit, like 30 seconds.
a minute max. The video of it's going to be. Paulie will slow it down. The whole thing. It's going to be epic. I can't wait. So if you like fun, Friday is going to be a really fun day.
Not really. I don't love fun.
You don't love fun. What is your idea of fun? Playing golf.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That is fun for me.
Calling out restaurants.
How are you relating this to the holidays?
That?
Yes, what we're going to be doing.
Oh, I'll make that. I'll make that relation on Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll explain it fully. I don't want to do it now. I give too much away.
All right.
Just want to tell you guys to get in there and make sure that you're watching.
I mean, as long as everyone's doing it with me, it's not just me.
Oh no,
I don't want to be the center of attention.
As far as I know, nothing's happened yet. You're not going to be on display. There is no meat wheel this year. There's no. I don't have anything in mind yet that's torturing you.
Thank you.
Like I have in.
See, that's the best gift I could have possibly received.
Well, we're also giving you a kick-ass gift, so I don't feel bad at all if I do come up with something in the next 48 hours to put you on the spot at all. And I don't know, like handcuff you to a bed or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Tickle you. I like the Ben and Woods Christmas tickle. Handcuff you and tickle you.
Very ticklish.
You are very ticklish.
Since we're talking extravaganza, we got a couple of minutes here before we got to go back to break. Can we talk about what we're doing on Friday morning and how the audience can be involved? Maybe prime the pump a little bit, get everyone ready for. Get their wallets ready, I should say.
Get your wallets ready.
In the past, if you've listened to any of the past extravaganzas, we have asked for listeners to submit stories of people in their lives who are in need, and we've given away $1,000 gift cards, $500 gift cards, and we're doing things a little bit differently this year. We're going to be partnering up with Lucky Duck Foundation, and throughout the morning, rather than us giving money away, we will all be raising money for Lucky Duck. There's going to be an individual link that you can go to that we will put out all over social media. We will remind you throughout the morning, but we have a goal in mind.
Yeah.
And we would like to raise enough money to pass that goal on
yeah.
Friday.
I mean, and we'll just tell you the goal is $5,000. I think we can do that in a 4-hour show. Was
payday for us at least.
Yep.
Maybe for you as well. Like, let's help out.
It's
a very worthy cause.
I was invited and was very honored to go with my wife Hannah to the Lucky Duck Foundation dinner auction at the end of it was a couple months ago, and got to spend the evening there watching how they touch people in the community and the work that they did. And I mean, it just blew I was in tears most of the night. I mean, it's just incredible. And I came back to these guys the next day and I said, hey, I'd like to switch it up this year. Not that helping those families wasn't rad. It did get a little more difficult as the years went by to sift through. I wanted to help every single person that wrote us and said that they or a friend of theirs needed help. This way, we can raise a bunch of money, give it to Lucky Duck, let them do their brilliant work with it.
It doesn't matter if you live in New York, if you're here
doesn't
in
matter
person, it does not matter. You can go online and make a donation, and we can all, as a Tier 1 family, make a pretty big difference.
Yeah.
Here
For me, obviously there are tons of worthy causes out there, childhood diseases to fight. There's a never-ending list, and you can support anything you want over the holidays. But here in San Diego, in particular, homelessness is such a huge, I think we all recognize
Correct.
that, whatever, we may disagree on the causes and the solutions, but we all know that it's a major problem right now in San Diego, and people need help. And, Lucky Duck is on the front lines of providing some solutions and some help for people who need it the most. And it felt like this holiday season, at least, personally, that this was the best way to go to do something that really hopefully can benefit our community the most.
Yeah, no question about it. I'm really looking forward to it, and I know that we can hit that goal and hopefully even exceed it. So just wanted to put the bug in your ear. That's all coming down Friday, 6 a.m. right here. Be on YouTube. Go to youtube.com. Make sure you're watching. It's going to be epic.
It's going to be weird because, yes, there's a charitable aspect to the show. Heartfelt stories will be heard. And then there's going to be just chaos and weirdness and debauchery. It's kind of, you're going to get a little bit of everything on Friday.
Can't wait.
All right, we got one final segment left. Actually, I have some big, interesting, different sports tonight. It's not a typical, there's no NFL games or anything, but there are some interesting things going on, and I want to highlight a couple of them when we come back in our last segment of Ben and Woods on a Tuesday, coming up next year on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We just found out that it's someone's birthday.
Someone
today.
very special.
Incredibly special. Should we call him and wish him a happy birthday?
If he answers, it'd be great.
a second.
All right, Paul's
give him a moment. We do have some sports tonight because sports.
Yeah, addict.
Including the start of the College Bowl season.
Okay. Who's
Number
playing?
25 Memphis taking on West Virginia in the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. Ever been to Frisco?
Many times.
Anything to say about Frisco?
It's the most suburban suburb that you could ever see. Every chain. It looks like Peoria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glendale.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hey, Sam Levitt. This
Sammy.
is Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. You're live on the air.
I know. I saw the 97.3 The Fan number, and I thought to myself, to what great honor do I have to join the Ben and Woods program?
Well,
we
you
have
know
to
what
legally tell you that you're on the air.
Yeah, you're on the
you
air.
know what the great honor is. We called
yes, I
Sammy.
assumed I was on the air. I'm very I'm very savvy when it comes to these
We also
shenanigans.
weren't too worried about you just cursing on the air.
What do
either,
you
'cause you're
MFers
you.
want? Right.
Who the F is this?
You know why we're calling, Sammy. We wanted to wish you a very happy birthday from all three of us.
Oh, well, thank you.
Happy birthday,
I
Sammy.
appreciate it very much. Thank you very much. How kind of you. I
You got any fun
appreciate it.
plans? You doing something fun right now?
Well, I'm at a coffee shop in La Jolla.
Now, you love the coffee
so-
shop.
You do.
Yep.
I do. So hanging out there for a little bit. My brother is in town from LA, so spend the day with him. We went to a nice place in Little Italy last night for dinner. Got some plans to grab a drink at a new place. I think in South Park a little bit later. So not.
Where'd you go in
not too
Little
much
Italy?
on the agenda.
Italian?
I went to Barbusa.
Oh,
which
Barbusa, good
now
spot.
we're
Hold
talking.
on. Where did you go
I
in Little?
understand it's very, very trendy.
Ben says, where did you go to Little Italy?
Italian? I would assume there's other restaurants in
Did you get
Little
some
Italy.
sushi?
There's steakhouses. There's other places in Little Italy.
I've
They're
heard
not always
nothing.
Yeah, it was
Italian.
very good.
I've heard nothing but good things about Barbusa. I've never been there, but I'd like to go sometime.
Yeah, it was very, very good. It was very good. So good meal, good company. My brother's here, so yeah, all
right.
good. I will tell you, and this may provide because I'm sure you are hurting for content.
Not
if you're
us.
calling me for my
Never.
birthday.
Never.
In the final 20
we
minutes
are
of the show.
we are full. I mean, there's so much we're gonna have leftover for tomorrow.
Well, I'll give you a topic here to chew on for the final 15 minutes. I will admit, I woke up this morning, and I'm getting to the age, I think, and maybe it sounds silly because you guys are older than me, but where it feels a little weird getting older. It's like, man, another year, like
That sucks.
just mixed emotions.
It's not great.
I will be honest. I did not feel elated on waking up this morning. I would say it's been like that for the last couple of years. So how do you deal with getting older? Just the reality of getting older. It's hitting me.
Therapy. I'm in therapy. Ben has Rogaine, which he's starting today.
No, I haven't got the prescription yet, but
Soon.
Yeah.
He'll be starting Rogaine. Therapy has helped me, not as much as it should, but I'm a work in progress, Sammy. I don't like getting older with young kids. It's tough. And I try not to think about it. But I know, each day that you're above ground is a good day. I think theoretically, theoretically should be a good day.
You're only as old as you.
You're
you
only
think you
as
are
old
and
as you
feel
think you are.
I still
Yep.
feel like I'm a young person, even though I know I'm
Oh yeah,
technically not.
I feel like I'm 18.
Yeah.
Tony says Sam is younger than Woods. Doesn't seem like it. Is that an insult?
That's a
What?
shot at Sam.
I would
think.
believe Sam is
That's a
anywhere
shot
from
at
like
me.
26 to 40.
Yeah,
I really have no
100%.
idea.
I have no
actually.
idea either. He doesn't tell him, and I don't blame him.
I was shocked to learn I was older than Sammy.
Yeah, that is shocking. Sam and
Not
Ben.
shocking. I was surprised.
Sam and Ben are both like mature, younger people.
Yeah.
I'm 40. I look every inch of 49. Every bit.
But
of it.
you act every inch
As a
of
14.
12.
You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Exactly. Sammy, we love you, dude. Happy birthday. Have a great
Hey,
one.
I love you guys too. I appreciate it. I should be at your Christmas.
Oh,
show on
yes.
Friday,
I can't wait. Get ready for the meat
Hey,
wheel.
are you guys doing that? I was actually going to text Adam this a little bit earlier. Are you guys doing that in the sound space?
We
man?
are. Yep.
Okay, good. Okay,
Yeah.
I should be there on Friday.
Bring
I
it,
should
buddy.
be on Friday.
Which way
I
do you eat a
appreciate it, guys. Thank you
candy
very
cane,
much.
Sammy? Quickly
this is
before you
very
go.
important. Quickly,
It's important.
which way do you eat
Do
a
you
candy
start
cane?
with the hook end or the pointy end?
I'm not a big candy cane guy, but if I were to eat it, I would start definitely at the hook end.
Yeah.
God, you guys are psychopaths. Psychopaths.
Oh, you know what?
Both
Now,
of you.
now I'm thinking about it because maybe I'd hold it by the hook.
Yes.
No.
Yes. The holder.
Yeah, I don't eat them enough to really remember. I would say maybe I'd hold it by the hook. So actually, I'll flip it around. I
Thank
guess
you.
the
Thank
other
you.
end.
Welcome to the majority.
W turned into an L just instantly for me there.
Sorry, he's not a sexual deviant like you are. So
Thanks, Sammy.
Thank you, Sammy.
All right, appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
The
Appreciate it,
birthday
buddy.
boy, Sam Levitt.
What an amazing hire for the great Adam Klug. I mean, just knocked it out of the park with Sammy Levitt. Like he should be cloned. You need him. You need him. He's an elite talent.
All right, let's check traffic. When we come back, we've got a couple of other events other than the Frisco Bowl tonight. Scooter's Coffee. Maybe Sammy could get a coffee at Scooter's, but we've got some other events as well taking place. Get to that next here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by Viejas Casino and Resort. The roads are looking pretty good all around the county, guys. No incidents, no accidents, not a lot of slowing. Still some stubborn brake lights for you. Northbound side of the 805 from Balboa on up toward the 52. After that, you are good to go. There are a lot of Caltrans projects going on in and around the county, so please let's keep those essential workers safe out there. If you see some, just take it extra carefully as you pass them. Even move over a lane if it's safe to do so. Viejas Casino and Resort is home to the best players club in my Viejas. Start earning points toward incredible rewards like free gifts, concert tickets, hotel stays, dining discounts, and more. It's time to ditch the other guys and join the best. The My Viejas Players Club, Viejas Casino and Resort. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, for the basketball fans, we mentioned it briefly earlier, do have the NBA Cup finale tonight. See which team takes the title from the Los Angeles Lakers in year 2. Oklahoma City Thunder taking on the Milwaukee Bucks. You can watch that locally on ABC 10 tonight, 5 o'clock coverage. But I'm actually, basketball-wise, a little more intrigued by the college game tonight in Logan, Utah. The UCSD Tritons have won 7 in a row and are starting to make some noise, like appearing in Joe Lunardi's bracketology as a 12 seed. They're up to like 61 in the net rankings. Utah State is undefeated at 10-0. They're right on the heels of San Diego State, just outside the top 25 in the Mountain West, and probably one of the biggest contenders and threats to the Aztecs this year. They've had a really good start to the season. That's a really tough place to play in a very rabid college basketball environment, and I'm curious to see how UCSD is going to fare. Obviously, they were leading San Diego State at Viejas Arena in that season opener in the second half.
Yep.
So they can play with good teams, and they've been playing really well lately. So I think that's an intriguing college basketball game tonight. I believe it's 6 o'clock Pacific time in Utah.
Where might I find that game?
The Mountain West Network. Streaming, I believe.
Ooh, the old streaming.
I
game.
know, it's not your favorite, but...
Did you guys see, speaking of college athletics, did you guys see the picture of new head coach for the North Carolina Tar Heels, Bill Belichick in North Carolina? They've landed their first commit out of the transfer portal in Holy Cross Center, Christo Kelly. Did you see the picture?
I didn't know the story. I
Yeah.
saw the picture. Is it with his arms crossed?
He's got his hands in his pockets.
Leaning up against the window or
Oh,
something?
yeah. There's a young man there signing his letter of intent to transfer. And then there's Bill Belichick off in the background. And somebody zoomed in on Bill, and they quote tweeted it with, "Just sign the effing paper." And look at him. He's standing there looking at he's all disheveled. He's in jeans and a t-shirt, and he's like, "Just sign the effing paper." It just laid me out. I don't give a rip about the North Carolina Tar Heels football team. Not even a little bit.
Not even for Jordan's sake?
Not even for our buddy Jordan's sake. But guess what? Now I do. Now I do. Now I am fascinated. Like if they're gonna do a Netflix documentary, follow that guy around as he deals with 17-year-old kids.
I will say, first win right off the bat. Bill was appearing on ESPN, I think with Pat McAfee, and he goes, You guys bringing College Game Day to Chapel Hill next season? I guarantee you they will.
No question.
100% guarantee. I'd be shocked if it wasn't the first game of the season, possibly, to be there for Bill Belichick.
And
which
again,
is, that's a win for North Carolina football.
And it's such a
weren't they at Game Day was at Colorado their first game?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's such it's such a move in sports where it's such a win-win for Bill. Like if Bill Belichick goes in, they win 2 games next year, and they don't do anything, they don't make any noise or whatever. Does anyone really care? Does anyone go, man, he really is a crap? No, like he's got his legacy is cemented. It's done. It's Bill Belichick. He of the 6 world championship Super Bowl rings or whatever. Like he has.
I mean, he had 3 really bad seasons to end in New England. And if he follows it up with 3 really bad seasons in North Carolina,
does he care?
He can damage the legacy a little bit.
I don't think so. I think he's fine. I really do. I think he's. It's just it's a win for the university because look at all the eyeballs that are on there. I mean, it's a huge win for the university.
There will be those who said, "What did you win without Tom Brady?"
Of course, no one cares though. I mean, he still won it. He still won it. He wasn't a backup long snapper. You know what I mean? That
head coach, 6-time Super Bowl champion.
100%, man. 100%.
It is the ultimate scoreboard for sure.
So I think it's so fascinating to watch. So now I guess what I'm saying is I do care about North Carolina football because if that picture is any indication of how things are going to go, I couldn't be more in. I think it's hysterical.
The other event starts this afternoon at 3 o'clock on TBS, True TV, and TNT, the triumvirate, as it were. The Crypto.com Showdown from Shadow Creek in Las Vegas.
You played there?
I have. It's
super fancy.
It's PGA Tour versus Live. Rory McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler versus Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau.
Oh, my God. Who I think it's Rory and Scheffler.
Rory and Scheffler, the PGA Tour stands versus Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau, the 2 most successful Live golfers.
I'm for those 4 golfers I really enjoy watching.
I do too.
I really do. I've come around on Bryson a lot.
But I have never really gotten totally into the made-for-TV golf
No, me
stuff.
neither.
Just doesn't quite do it for me.
Their shtick, their banter back and forth, it's too sticky.
Bryson, Rory tried to do the shtick thing yesterday where he said, I owe Bryson from the U.S. Open what he did to me. And Bryson came back with a pretty good, I think you did it to yourself.
Yeah, you did it to yourself, bro. It was really good.
Ouch, Bryson, but a good line. Does it really mean anything? They'll all get a payday.
It's charity payday?
I think there is a charitable element to it. I guarantee you they are also getting paid for this as well. But, they'll play it at Shadow Creek, which is a cool over-the-top golf course in Las Vegas that I got to play once.
So Scheffler and McIlroy, big favorites to win, -186. Koepka and DeChambeau, I mean, they both have the capability of being dynamite.
Yeah, I would say if you're going to get good odds, go with the underdogs and go for the payday because you never know in one round of golf what's going to happen on any given day.
What time does that go down? 3 o'clock?
3 o'clock our time is when it starts. I don't know if it's going to finish under the lights or what they plan. Are they just doing 12 holes? I don't even know what the format exactly is for the event tonight. But 6 holes, just 6 holes of best ball.
Oh my God!
What it says.
Quite a payday.
Anything can happen in 6 holes.
Wow! All right.
That's a quick tournament.
That's a quick tournament. That's actually how golf should be played: the front 3 and the back 3. And I would play a lot more golf. I had a really good day today. I mean, what would be par for 6 holes?
Let's say you have a 5, a 4, and a 3, so you'd probably be par for 24. 24 for the round. Yeah.
Me and Paulie shot 40.
2 par 3s, 2 par 4s, 2 par 5s.
Oh, do you see this hypothetical going around? Speaking of golf, and it makes me. I laugh every time I see it. Could you win the Masters if you started every hole on the green? They take your ball, they place it on the green. Could you win the Masters?
I could.
You could win the Masters.
I could win the Masters, yes.
I could not.
Those greens are insane.
They are, but it's not. It's.
I assume
still be 6 putting.
I assume they're putting you as far away as possible, but on the green.
They didn't say you're on the green.
I mean, there'd be a couple of 4 putts, but even a 4 putt is a birdie on a par 5. I mean, even if you 5 putted once or twice, that's still just a bogey. And anytime you 2 putt, that's a it's an eagle or a double eagle.
He's so confident, Paulie. Did you see how he said I could win the Masters?
Yeah, as soon as you said I have a hypothetical, or I saw a hypothetical, and it's sports related, I know how those go, and I go. No.
I'm at the very least, though. The best part of my game is usually putting.
No question.
So I feel confident. Like a rank amateur who's never done it before, that's interesting.
Somebody said,
probably not.
Set it up, Paul. Yes, we'll fly to Augusta, see if they'll let us do a bit.
I'll let you guys know by the end of the
We're
day.
here. We're here. All right, we're actually not here anymore because Annie and Elston are here. They are coming up next. Paulie Rindle, Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. right here on 97.3 The Fan. Have a great one, everybody.